If you've ever woken up in the middle of the night thinking about an economic data point that's due to come out that day, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another edition of Benzinga's Market Edge Live. We got the CPI print coming here in just about a half an hour. Got some stories to break down. We got some earnings to talk about. And of course, we have some movers to go over today. We did take the Google trade that we opened here yesterday. We took that home, and that's looking good here this morning. So we'll talk about that as well. It's Wednesday. So we got Tim Melvin coming right around the time for the CPI. Should be fun. Good morning. Great to see everybody. Let's get it. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Benzinga's Market Edge Live. Great to see a whole bunch of you here. Kayla, good morning. Paul, good morning. Drew, good morning. Big Bees, good morning. Fairchild, good morning. It's great to see everyone back. I will say, first of all, you guys can hear me, right? Chuck in the street, welcome back. Just making sure that we don't have these crazy audio issues here again today. But the good news here is that actually led to a better streaming service. I actually think that we're going to be able to do some really cool stuff about that. Julie, would someone please tell me what happened to pre-market prep? Yes, we've mentioned it a few times here, Julie. Dennis and Joel split off to do their own thing, so I'm taking over the show here. Nice to have you here this morning. Daniel, good morning. David, welcome back. Ralph, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and just start with the SPY. Let's take a look and see where we are at here today. Quick look at the futures. S&P futures up about 0.1%. Dow futures flat at the moment, and NASDAQ futures up just about 0.2%. So, futures kind of flat, but it's a little bit of green arrows across the board. We'll see where we end up here today. Just taking a look at the SPY, we're still kind of in this range, right? Let's make this a little bit easier to see. There we go. We've come in, we broke the trend line. We're still above the 20-day moving average. Worth noting that the last few times that we touched this 20-day moving average, that represented the bottom. I know one of the things we've been talking with 13 about recently is, at least on happy hour, the market continues to be in this pattern, right? It continues to push up, make a new high, doesn't really run and go crazy, comes back in a little bit, looks like it's going to sell off. Buyers step back in and take us to new highs, and that seems to be where we're at. Now, the market was a little bit weak yesterday. Let me go ahead and reset this here real quick. Market was a little bit weak yesterday in the afternoon. We held through the after-hour session, but everything here is is pretty much waiting on that CPI print, and we are 27 minutes away from that print. Good morning, 3D. Good morning, Chuck. Good morning, White Chocolate Mocha. Let's go. I can click on these, right? Yes, I can. Boom. Market Sniper, good morning. Canelo, good morning. You got it, Julie. Great to have you here. All right. So that's kind of where we're at with the SPY. I have no position on the broader market, despite really kind of thinking we're going to sell off at some point. It just hasn't materialized. So we're going to, if you can't beat them, join them. And that's kind of where we're at. So we'll see where we end up going here today. December interest rate cut is almost a done deal. Could Wednesday's inflation data derail investors' hopes? That is what we're looking at here for the CPI. I do think that the 25-point cut is probably a done deal. I know Powell said we can, wait on it. We don't have to be in a rush, I think was the exact words that he used. That's fine. I do think that we get one more here before the end of the year. I don't think there's anything crazy that's going to make it like 50 basis points. And I don't necessarily think there's going to be anything where he just says, no, we're not going to do anything here. So we'll see where that ends up going. I do think that that's priced in. So we'll be able to know a lot more about that when we see the reaction here to the CPI print. Again, not that far away. All right, let's talk next about Google, ticker GOOG. As mentioned yesterday, just to kind of recap here, we had that breakthrough quantum chip piece of news yesterday. We talked about that a little bit here in the morning. We ended up taking a trade on that. Let's see if I can find that here. Will chip shows Google. I can't find it in here. Anyway, there was news yesterday about, here we go. Willow Quantum Chip sparks stellar conversation between Elon Musk and Sundar Pichai. So this looks pretty good. This popped above the trend line that we saw yesterday. Come on, chart. There we go. Popped above the trend line. Also took out the recent high here from the middle of November, which is great. Looks like this, just to my eye here, it sure looks like not only are we going to test this all-time high, which I have up here right around 193, but I think that this probably makes a run for 200. So again, yesterday, the entry was fairly decent. I guess I could have tightened it up a little bit. If we take a look at the chart here, I ended up buying it like right here, hoping for kind of a push away. Now I did add as we come back in, so that was really awesome. And then obviously we finished higher in the afternoon, and we're higher here again in the pre-market. Now, when I first woke up and sat down at my terminal, it looks like we were about to test 189, 190, which I do think is on deck here today. We came in a little bit from that, but we haven't broken down yet. So all of this seems all right. Really kind of looking forward to a bigger run here today in Google, and we are positioned in this from yesterday. So really good stuff here. And we'll also see, one more thing, sorry, about yesterday's session. The volume stick, notable. While it's not the biggest of the year, still outsized compared to some of the recent sticks here. And that also was accompanied with taking us above a key level there. RSI here just under 70. So we'll see if this does take a break in the next session or two here. But still looking for a move above 190 here in Google, ticker GOOG. All right, next story here. We're going to talk about X. Not the social media platform, United States Steel. So here we go on X. U.S. Steel drops as Biden is set to block the Nippon Steel deal. This really doesn't come as much of a surprise. I believe Trump said he wouldn't let this deal go through either. So the administration change isn't really going to matter. When we take a look at the chart here, this did kind of yank down to the 500, and the buyers bought it right back up over that moving average. Now, the interesting thing to note here is that the last time that we did this actually provided a pretty decent trade. Will that materialize again? We shall see, but we'll definitely be watching X here on that news. Next, and I'm willing to bet that there were a lot of you waiting for this. Right? GameStop reporting earnings yesterday. Up about 1% here in the pre-market. You can see we actually did drop initially. We popped. This is what you would expect out of a meme stack, without a doubt. We came pretty much all the way back into balance. Now we're looking a little bit lower here. Still hanging on to some green, but barely there. No position for me in GameStop. We'll see if this lights any of the other meme plays that kind of go along with it. AMC probably being the most notable. And as far as the actual news here, it looks like they narrowed their loss, right? They had a 6-cent EPS beat versus the 3-cent loss. So good job there, GameStop. And they reduced SG&A expenses, which I guess they had to do. So GameStop reporting earnings. Does it mean anything? Does it actually lead to a trade here today? I don't know. Looks like the action was kind of going on in the after hours. We'll see what happens here on the opening print here for GameStop. I'm not opposed to day trading this if it gives the setup, but honestly, I feel like we are going to have better opportunities elsewhere. So just wanted to cover it for you, just so you know that this happened yesterday. And again, if we get a roaring kitty tweet or something here today that ends up kicking this up. So that's what's going on. Ticker GME, GameStop. Next one we're going to take a look at here is going to be Dave & Buster's. This is ticker PLAY, PLAY. This one tough. Dave & Buster's stock drops on disappointing Q3 earnings and a CEO transition. So stock's down almost 14% here today. You can see this actually reported earnings yesterday, and so far this morning we've taken another leg down. One of the things that I want to be watching for in this name is going to be do we bounce here? If we do bounce here, this might actually be a fairly decent play, but we really need to do that. We really need to bounce if we're going to do that. Otherwise, I'll kind of just let this thing settle here. Really quick look at the news here. It looks like we did have some more price target adjustments here today. Looks like Truist moved the price target down to 36. Stock is currently at 31, so maybe it is due for a bounce here. We'll see. But yep, that's basically what's going on. I don't think there was anything else here in the news. No. So we'll see here if ticker PLAY gives us a trade here today. But poor earnings, CEO transition, putting pressure on this stock and driving it down. All right. Next here is going to be Stitch Fix, and that's going to be ticker SFIX. Boy, I almost screwed that one up there. And there we go. I just screwed it up. Stitch Fix shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 EPS and sales and issued strong guidance here. Stock was what, $4.50 yesterday? It's up about $1 here today, up 21.5% on Stitch Fix. I don't know why I struggle saying that so much. Several price target raises here this morning as well on Stitch Fix. Looks like Canaccord, Bernstein, UBS, all and Telsey Advisory, all adjusting their price targets. The one thing that I will say here on SFix is that this stock actually gives us some decent trading opportunities. So never mind the business, what they do, whether you use it or not, the actual stock itself does give us some pretty good opportunity. We've traded this off the relative volume scanner a number of times, and it looks like it might be setting up here today. When we take a look at the daily chart, you can see exactly what this looks like. We've really kind of been trading sideways. In fact, we've been in this range for some time. So we've kind of drifted down here anywhere between 275 and what? 550, and that's basically where we're at right now. So do we pop out of this range? Next spot up would be 885. Boy, that would be a great trade if we're able to get that. It's really going to have to show some strength, and we're going to have some pretty good volume in here. Float on this stock, 88.3 million, so it's not going to be terribly easy to move around. But keep an eye on it. At least put it on the back burner. You have to say it 3 times fast. Boy, I would probably screw it up, and I'd probably end up saying a curse word or something like that. That was probably how it would go for me. All right, next story here is going to be for GM. This one actually, we'll see the tailwinds that this produces here. GM pulls the plug on the Cruise robotaxi. Draws sharp reaction from the co-founder, Kyle, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Vogt? I want to say Voigt, but there's no I in there. Anyway, Tesla CEO Elon Musk says autonomous driving is, quote, a very hard problem, end quote. It would appear that way. Now, GM scrapping that. The market's rewarding that. GM up 1.35% here. I'm not necessarily sure that this is going to create a trade in GM. The stock has actually been performing pretty well this year. We are pulling back to the 50-day moving average, so maybe there is a trade here. I'd actually like to see if we can get down to 51 or so, but might be a trade here on GM. The big thing, though, is that this is likely a net positive for Tesla and maybe Waymo. No, I don't really trade Waymo directly here, but these companies likely to benefit from it. Now, Tesla here, we don't even need to cover Tesla really. We watch this every single day. Tesla's been on a really good run recently, up 1.67% here in the pre-market. Sure looks like we're going to test those intraday highs from yesterday. Got that just shy of 410 here at 409 and change. I would imagine that if we break above that, we probably have a trade on our hands here as well on Tesla. Last trade that I did on Tesla, I didn't do all that well. I think I actually ended up stopping out of it, but we'll see if we get another trade here on Tesla. I will say that trading some of these bigger names has become easier and easier, especially when juxtaposed against some of the smaller movers. But anyway, we'll see here. I am looking for Tesla. The other thing that I'm looking at on Tesla here is if we break down through 405, especially if we do it on volume, we actually might have a short trade on our hands here. I would imagine if we break 405, we definitely test 400. And if we break that, we actually might test some of these levels from yesterday, maybe 397 or 395. We'll have plenty of time to make that assessment. But that's kind of what I'm watching here on Tesla. Again, 410 to the upside, breaking yesterday's intraday high, 405 to the downside on Tesla. So good stuff there. And that's actually a really good segue. Goldman Sachs maintains neutral on Tesla and raises the price target to 345. Now, the price target here is already almost 408, as we just discussed. But nice little price target raise here from Goldman Sachs this morning. And that is also helping Tesla out. So I know Tesla is one of the favorites for this group. We'll definitely be taking a look at that here today. Other thing here about that level, 413. Look at this. Possible new all-time high here on Tesla. Look at that cup. Look at that move. Really good stuff. So I do, my bias on this, I've been wrong on Tesla for a long time. My bias on this, at least for right now, higher we go on Tesla. So, okay. It's pronounced vote. Thank you, Fairchild. Okay, awesome. All right. What are we? 15 minutes away from the CPI here. We got plenty of time. And then really quickly, the other thing that I wanted to mention here, all of the China stocks. Boy, that little stimulus thing that they did, very, very short-lived. Looks like a little bit of a pop and a drop here. Now, we haven't broken down, but we have retraced some of that move. Alibaba here, ticker BABA, little weak here in the pre-market, down just over 0.5%. So we'll see where this trade goes here. I'll be honest, this trade's been tough. I've actually had better luck trading some of the smaller Chinese names than some of these bigger ones. But if you folks have a trade plan on this, I definitely would love to hear how you're attacking this here today. And maybe it's not on BABA, right? Maybe the trade plan is on the Yin or the Yang ETF, which I think is probably safer. Or maybe it's on another individual name like Pinduoduo. I wanted to see where we were at here on the chart on Pinduoduo. Okay, we did break the 20-day moving average. So it does look like maybe we come into this area. I also want to pop a trend line on here real quick. We want to see if this trend holds, because if we break beneath, we're going to have some other levels to go after here. So Pinduoduo down 2% here in the pre-market. We'll see, and we are breaking that 20-day moving average. We'll see if we recapture any of that, or maybe move back above that 500 days. So that's what you got here. Pinduoduo, Alibaba. Might as well check in on Baidu while we're here, see if Baidu has any type of chart setup. We are right beneath the 100-day. You can see we ran right up to that 200-day, which I'm always taking a look at, and really kind of came off that and came back in. So we'll see if the Chinese trade has anything going for it. Okay, let me know if you folks want to cover any of these stocks. If you have any thoughts on any of these stocks, we are expecting Tim Melvin here in a little bit. And I don't really think we have a whole lot of other news here. I think we covered pretty much most of the news. Oh, maybe we should talk about Joby here real quick. Yeah, maybe we should. So Joby had some news yesterday, so let's go take a look at that. I know the reason I'm mentioning this is because I know our group has really had fun with Archer recently. Archer is related to Joby, or very, very similar. Joby here down 6% in the pre-market. Looks like we did have some news yesterday after the close. Looks like Joby Aviation enters distribution agreement for sale of common stock up to $300 million. That is putting some pressure on the stock here today. And then we also had one of the directors selling 333,000 shares, an average price of $863. Now, I did want to see how much of his position was that. Okay, so he sold 333,000 shares for about just shy of $3 million. This guy still has 59 plus million shares. One of the things that we covered with Tim Melvin yesterday, talked a little bit about insider transactions. He was mentioning something that I don't think that we've talked enough about. Insider selling is not nearly as important as insider buying. Insiders sell for a number of reasons. Building a new house, sending daughters off to college or kids off to college. There could be any number of reasons why they want to sell some of their stock, especially if they hold millions and millions or tens of millions of shares. Selling a little bit really isn't a big deal. Conversely, in open market buy, you really only do that for one reason. You think the stock is going up. So again, when we look at some of this, I don't want to put too much focus on insider sells. I definitely think insider buys way more important. Tim brought up a really good point. So we'll keep an eye on that. That's what's going on here with Joby. I would imagine Archer is being affected by that. Archer down about 1% here, so didn't have that news itself. Down about 1% here. Looks like it was a little bit weaker in the pre-market, but definitely stronger than Joby. Let's check the news tab as well. Really nothing going on here yet. We did have a recent pullback on Archer. I know we were, up near these $10 highs. We've kind of pulled back. I'll be honest, just kind of looking at this, and we'll ask 13 about this as well because he actively trades this. This really needs to recapture 850 for the bulls to be in charge here. Otherwise, I do think we kind of test some of these lower levels here, whether they be a moving average or a previous low where the stock held. So that's what's going on here with Joby and Archer. All right. Thank you, producer. We will talk about Macy's here. Macy's down 10.5% here this morning. Macy shares are trading lower after the company reported Q3 financial results and lowered fiscal year 24 EPS outlook. I'll tell you what, the news here for Macy's, really not great. They had, I believe not too long ago, they had news about maybe their accounting not being totally cleaned up. And all that. And then here we go. Now we're actually, at least they're cleaned up enough to report their earnings. This was a beat on the top and the bottom line, but lowered the guidance. And that's really hitting it here. So down 10 plus percent here. I'd be curious to know, what do you folks think? Is this a comment on the economy? Can we draw anything here about the Christmas holiday, or excuse me, the holiday season and shopping and all that? I'd like to hear from you folks. I don't actually trade Macy's all that much. We don't really have a trade plan for this, but this stack down here, 10.3% on weak guidance. Really quickly, those numbers, just in case you care about that, adjusted EPS of 4 cents beat the 3 cent estimate, and the sales were $4.74 billion. That beat the $4.72 billion estimate. So while it did beat on the top and the bottom line, beat was very small. The guidance obviously playing a much larger role in that. Much larger role in that. Okay. Good day. Jaywalker. Nice to see you again. Christian, there you go with M. Paul, Paul, you were saying Stitch Fix, there's a high of 603. Check the weekly chart. So really quickly, Paul, is that one of the levels that you're looking maybe to clear to the upside here? Might that juice it? 603, you said that happened in 2023. It's not right in here. That's going to be right here, right? February 2nd of 2023. That's what you said? Right here, February 3rd. It looks like you were saying, but I think it is February 2nd, actually. Nonetheless, here is that high. You're exactly right, 603. We'll see if we can get above that. I think we first need to take out this. Oh, no, we already did. We already took out that 521 level. So this might be, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and plop that on the chart. That's good stuff there, Paul. Okay, we're just going to have to manually edit it. Oh, my goodness. Why don't I have the dexterity? Okay, here we go. 603. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So that's Stitch Fix. We'll see if we get a trade there here today. Also worth noting, Adobe is going to report after the close here today. That's ticker ADBE. Let's see where they're at here. They're holding just about flat here, $548. You can see Adobe recently has had a pretty nice move. Be interesting to see if this can end up beating here. Trading higher. 582 looks to be that resistance level. Okay, folks, really good stuff. As mentioned earlier, it is a Wednesday, so you know what that means. Oh, you know what? I don't know where there we go. There we go. All right. Where is the producer? Producer, help me out. Where's the special guest? No, I'm sorry, folks. I don't know where the special guest screen is. We're gonna, you know what, we're just gonna do a cold open with Tim. He's used to it. Let's go ahead and bring on Tim Melvin. Tim, how you doing here today?
I'm doing really well. I don't know why I needed a special screen, but you can explain that to me later. How is everybody this fine Wednesday morning?
We're doing good. Look, I like to have a little graphic when we bring on a special guest, and
okay. Well,
we recently changed our thing, and I don't know where it is. I don't see it in here. So anyway,
all right. Well, we'll get it figured out. First time that I've been on anyway. So CPI number coming out here pretty quick.
I was going to say, what are you more interested in, the CPI print or the GameStop earnings?
Well, I mean, what I'm interested in about GameStop is there's so many people sitting around watching the earnings of a company that sells used video games. I mean, GameStop revenues were down 20%. Profits were, I mean, they reversed from a loss a year ago and they made 6 cents. Big deal. GameStop is just a very ordinary business. There's nothing wonderful about it, except some folks have been real active in manipulating the shares over the years. And, if you're one of them and you can figure out how to make money on that, good luck to you. Because near as I can tell, Roaring Kitty and his buddies are the only ones that actually cashed in big on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I know a couple of the group members here ended up trading it back when it had its initial run, but I'm with you there on that.
Yeah,
okay.
The CPI print, I mean, they're looking for 3.3 with a 2.8 core, I guess. That's okay, but it's not 2%. I mean, sticky inflation, this is the curveball here, folks. I understand the scenario going into 2025. I've read it, and a lot of it's plausible, right? Lower taxes, lower regulations, lower restrictions, more M&A activity. I'm a big fan. All of that sets up for, hey, maybe another third big year in a row in the stock market.
Mhm.
That'd be really unusual. But the curveball here is inflation. The thing that you absolutely have to remember, Ryan, is that most of the short-term returns of the market are driven by Fed liquidity. Okay. If global liquidity is going up, the stock market's probably going up. If we get inflation, they're not going to cut rates as quick as we hoped. Remember, 6 weeks ago, we all thought they'd cut 4 or 5 times next year.
Yep.
We're down to 1 or 2.
Yep.
So that CPI number can have some influence on Fed policy going forward. They really want to cut rates next week because it's kind of baked into the market and everybody will be disappointed. And, there's a whole bunch of reasons they want to cut rates one more time. But if this number's hot, they won't do it. So we'll see what I don't expect a hot number, but I've been surprised before.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm kind of just waiting to react to this, right? Like I don't necessarily need to trade the actual print itself. I'm not necessarily positioned prior to the print. So we'll see what happens here.
Well, we talked about that a little bit last night. And, I know a lot of Wall Street traders. I know oil traders. I know interest rate traders. I know options traders. And these guys have been my friends and many of them my clients for decades now. Most of them don't trade in front of the number. They'll react to what the market does, not what they think it's going to do, because they're aware what they think could be an expensive thought if you back it up with too much cash or don't hedge it properly. It's better if you get some adverse reaction or really overly positive reaction to a number, then there's something you can do. So reacting will actually make you more money with a lower risk threshold and profile than trying to predict what the number actually might be.
Yeah, really good stuff. Also makes it a little bit easier to sleep, as it turns out.
As it turns out, yes, sir.
All right, what did you want to cover here today, Tim? We got an open slate. Didn't really have a whole ton of news, and obviously we're waiting for that CPI.
Yeah, let's cover a couple things. Let's start with energy. Okay, oil and natural gas prices are relatively low. Everybody's worried about China. Got a little bump on China's stimulus. Drill, baby, drill. Everybody's just going to open the floodgates. There's going to be a ton of oil, so there just won't be, there'll be too much oil prices going to add. I think Donald promised $1.58 gas or something the other day. It's not going to happen. Let's just dial that up. Okay. Drill, baby, drill. It's a very cool policy. I love it. Sounds great. $1.58 gas. Who would not love that?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that would do to the oil and gas industry? It would just absolutely destroy profits across the board at the refining level, at the retail level, at the exploration and production level. Not going to happen. The oil company executives learned a painful lesson back in 2015 about drill, baby, drill. Many of them danced up to the edge of, and some fell over the edge of bankruptcy. It devastated oil projects in the Gulf of Mexico and, pretty much shuttered the offshore oil and gas industry. It's just now trying to come back. Now, when we look at demand, China just threw $1.4 trillion at its economy. They've got to get that going. Xi Jinping wants to be dictator for life. You're not going to pull that off if the economy doesn't get better. So they're going to do what they have to do, and they are fortunate in that they don't have the restrictions that other governments might have. Silly rules, regulations, checks and balances doesn't apply to China. So you'll see the Chinese economy slowly but surely begin to recover, start to grow again, and oil demand going up. So, and what about the little guys that need cheaper gas? If we bankrupt the oil and gas industry, there's going to be a hell of a lot more little guys out there that can't afford anything. So, using government policies to dictate market prices, really bad idea. But
your CPI is in, Tim. US CPI year over year for November 2.7 versus the 2.7 estimate. The prior read was 2.6. US core CPI month over month for November 0.3 versus the 0.3 estimate. Prior read was 0.3. We are in line across the board here. No surprises.
Yep. In line across the board. So there'll be not a lot of reaction to that. And the Fed will go ahead and cut 25 basis points next week.
Yeah.
So, the industry, particularly, I think oil demand is going to be just kind of leveled out. There's a small supply and demand imbalance in favor of demand long term. The supply demand imbalance developing in natural gas is huge, right? When we look at all the electricity demand is about to skyrocket. It's going to almost hockey stick on us. So we can't generate enough with renewables. As we talked many times, we're years away from being able to do this with nuclear, because remember we talked about this last night, right?
Yeah, we sure did.
China again, no rules, no restrictions, no limitations, no protesters, no environmental, tree hugging wackos to tell them they shouldn't do that. They just do it. So they have like 29 plants they're building now because they know they need it. 5 years, Ryan. 5 years, no interferences, no problems, no overruns, no nothing. 5 years. All right. The United States, the international average is 7 to 10 years. 10 years being right around right. We take longer than that. We run 12 to 15. So it's going to be a while for alternative sources, including nuclear, to rise up to meet this demand. We have to meet the demand or we fall behind in key technologies, in industrialization, and a lot of other things. There's only one way to meet it. Well, there's two. There's two ways to meet it. One's coal. We ain't doing that.
Really dirty.
Really, really dirty. And, just not, it doesn't have a good reputation. That one would be a tough sell to get through. So that leaves you with natural gas. Fortunately, we're blessed in the United States. We have a ton of natural gas. So, but the demand, you're starting to see prices have been moving higher. I think at some point you're going to get a sustained move a lot higher. So how do we play that? Well, right now we're being a little cautious because some of these stocks have run up, but it's the royalty trusts right now, the leading royalty trusts. They're throwing out between 8 and 12% in regular dividends. I believe some of them even pay monthly. So you've got this now. Remember, the royalty is based on how they own all this land. The royalty is based on how much oil and gas is produced on the property and what the selling price of that oil and gas is net of expenses. So the higher prices go, higher the royalty goes. Now, the key to this is the company has to be really good at replacing declining production. Because, years ago, they would do royalty trust and they would just set them up and throw the keys on the table, walk away. It would run off. So you'd what looked like a great high yield investment each year got a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less, and the terminal value of the thing would be zero. So that's where we're kind of looking to play this now is the royalty trust, like Blackstone, which has over 20 million acres, I believe it is, of oil and gas properties. And it's about 50-50 as to whether it's oil and gas. They're in all the major basins. BSM is, not that Blackstone, BSM.
Okay. BSM.
Blackstone Mineral Royalty Trust.
My bad.
Sorry, yeah. These guys have been around a while, and they are really good at replacing declining production. They're real active in the Permian, which is, of course, the hot spot right now,
Mhm.
but they're in all of the basins, including like the Utica and the Marcellus, sorry, that are really big natural gas producers. So you buy these things and you just kind of forget about them. You just let them compound. Dividend comes in, you can reinvest it, spend it, whatever you need to do. You get a down move in oil price and the dividend falls, buy more. Right?
10% dividend, by the way. So
Yeah,
pretty sweet yield here.
right. So, if you get a drop in oil from geopolitical concerns or whatever, just buy more. That price is not going to stay low forever. Okay. And then in between the two, I'm going to tell you, this is a limited partnership. You're going to get a K1. Okay. It's going to be a very simple K1, a little bit of return on capital, and it's a depletion allowance. So you get $1 dividend, you're only going to pay tax on 85 cents because there's a 15% depletion allowance. Now, K1s are a pain in the butt. I know it, everybody knows it. They're not such a big pain in the butt that you shouldn't take advantage of great opportunities. And both the royalty trusts I'm going to talk to you about today have gone to great lengths to avoid unrelated business taxable income. Now, UBTI is a real problem because if you have too much UBTI in your IRA, you create massive tax issues for the account. All right. We don't want that. Now you're straying into places you just don't want to be. Blackstone and our next pick both do not generate UBTI. They manage their business to never generate UBTI. So that's so Blackstone, and the other one's Dorchester Minerals, DMLP, and I think this one is yielding between 10 and 12 right now. And same thing, been around a while, really good at predicting what's going to happen. Replacing lost production and that type of thing. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly what oil and gas prices are going to do over the next few years. What I do know is looking out there that there's nothing to replace natural gas with. Okay. We can't do it with nuclear soon enough. We can't do it with renewable for decades, realistically. Okay. Drill, baby, drill. The oil company executives are not going to do it. The government may want them to. There may be some benefits economically. Of course, there would be, right? But if you don't find a way to offset that and replace the cash flows that the oil and gas companies would lose, they're not going to do it. It doesn't make fiscal sense for them to drill themselves into bankruptcy. So it's just going to be a pretty disciplined approach. And then the other thing that I'll throw in, and this is something I took from Charlie Munger, drill, baby, drill from a national defense point of view is stupid. Okay. There's only so much of this stuff on the planet, right? You don't want to give away the cheapest, most accessible, most reliable power source. You want to have a military supply of this stuff because the guy with the last gallon of this stuff wins.
Right.
Okay. So that's just another concern. But long term, oil and gas, even if prices don't spike, I'll collect 10 to 12% for the rest of my life if the prices don't move higher over time. I'll be good with that. If they go lower, we just buy more. And this is a great way to play the AI energy demand and everything else that's going on in the energy markets right now. Just based on what has to happen as far as electricity, oil and gas pricing is going to be relatively firm, I think, for a long time with a lot of volatility.
Yeah, I like that too. I love trades like this. And kudos to you, because when we talked last time about some of these nuclear stocks and the entire theme, you said the same thing, right? You said that this is a story, this is a trade, there's going to be volatility. And sure enough, those stocks have started to pull back. A lot of those like SMR, NEE, and OKLO, they look like they're going to roll over here. These look like much better places to kind of park your money and earn a dividend on.
Yeah, nuclear is going to be one of the huge energy stories. There's no question about it. We have to. How do you play it? It's not companies that are going to have cash flows 10 years from now, right? There will be no SMRs online until about 2030, okay? Earliest. So that's online, and in another couple of years to be generating a whole bunch of cash flow. and maybe it's SMR and maybe it's not. So you're trading a dream, and that's okay because dreams, as we know, are volatile. So if you're using VWAP or moving averages or whatever, and you can lock in some big gains, I recommend that you do it. If you want to play nuclear energy from day one, from right now, you want to own raw uranium, because as they extend older plants, as China builds plants on, more plants than we are, India is building more plants than we are because we're not building any at the moment. There is going to be uranium demand, and there's another really big kicker in the uranium market. About 5 years ago, this started, and nobody noticed until all of a sudden it was like, hey, there's some uranium missing. Where is it? Well, hedge funds bought it and they locked it up in storage. And there is a lot of going on of that out there. That's it's making a meaningful difference. It's removing some supply. So what do? You buy SRUUF, which is the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust. It's just a big pile of yellow cake uranium. And you just, every time there's any weakness whatsoever in the price, you buy a little bit more and you buy a little bit more. And you have nuclear power, you got to have uranium.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, Russia is one of the world's biggest suppliers of uranium, and the West is trying to figure out how to not do business with them. So what does that do? Takes uranium off the market. Demands are going to go up. The price will follow the demand curve higher. So that's kind of where we are on the uranium idea.
Real quick question here. Big B's asking, is there any play on thorium reactors as far as a nuclear play? This is a really good question, Big B's. I don't have any off the top of my head. Tim, do you?
I do not have any plays on thorium reactors, and I've never done a whole bunch of deep dive into it, just simply because there's not a lot of them even being talked about in the world. Everybody's building pretty much traditional nuclear reactors, to the best of my knowledge. So that's kind of where the play is on that at this point in time. There's no pure play that I'm aware of.
Okay. Big B's, though, this would be something. Let me know if you come across any. That'd at least be something worth monitoring. Okay. You got anything else for us, Tim? Anything else you want to cover?
Well, I mean, look, we're going to stay with the theme, right? It's no matter what happens in the stock market next year, it's going to be a better operating environment for the banking industry.
Yeah, no question.
No way it's not. From a regulatory point of view, the banking industry is emerging from a 4-year dark age. There's no other way to put it. The Biden administration was aggressively hostile towards banks, right? I mean, not the Obama administration, not nowhere close to this.
Yeah.
You go back to the Clinton administration was incredibly bank friendly. So this is the most aggressively hostile that I can recall in my career. And I'm old, so
experienced, as we like to say around.
Well, I mean, I keep telling myself that, and every once in a while I walk by the mirror, like look up at this little camera up on the corner of the screen, like, who is that old dude in my house? What is he doing here? But so I mean, I'm not going to run down the whole litany of everything that they did from a regulatory point of view and who they appointed and everything that's gone on. But we're going to see a rollback of regulations. There's no question. Trump did it in 2017. Yep. They're going to do it again. I'm aware of the people he's considering for or has already made as appointments for the financial services industry. Gotta say, kind of a big fan across the board so far. I'm hopeful that Michelle Bowman, who is currently a Fed governor, is going to get an appointment at one of the regulatory bodies, because she's the only Fed governor that we have. This would be kind of a loss. So maybe, but her family owns a bank in Kansas, a small bank. So she's like worked the teller line, opened the checking account for the 6-year-old kid, and told an old friend from high school they couldn't have the loan. She's familiar with what banking is and what it takes. So seeing her in a regulatory position instead of a bunch of lawyers and academics would be cool. Now, in addition to being hostile towards banking, they've been very, very hostile towards takeover activity. Last couple of years have been the lowest number of takeovers since interstate consolidation began. It started in a small fashion in 1984 under Reagan. A decade later, Bill Clinton poured gasoline on it. And we've been steadily seeing 4% of the industry get taken over every year. We're down to around 2 right now. There's going to be an explosion of M&A. So we've done really well over the years, Ryan, picking stocks that were eventually bought out in the banking sector.
And the M&A trades are some of my favorite. There's nothing like waking up in the morning and having one of your stocks trading up 30% because it got bought out at a premium.
Yeah, and look, these are going to be boring. You're going to sit there, and they're not going to do a lot, and then you'll get an offer one day. So I'm going to give you a couple.
Okay.
We gave you BRBS, Blue Ridge Bank shares, I believe, last week.
Yep.
We absolutely look. The lead investors in this deal, the ones that recapitalized this bank earlier this year, they're private equity types. You got Ken Lehman, you got Castle Creek. They're in this to make money and not a few percentage points. They're looking to run this bank for a few years, get it completely healthy, real profitable, and sell it at a big premium to the current stock price. So then last night we talked about Citizens Community out in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, CZWI. Same thing. What we're looking for here, guys, is we're thinking like a bank buyer. What am I looking for? I'm looking for, a bank with a clean loan book, a bank with plenty of capital, a bank with sticky, loyal deposits. I want lots of deposits that are going to stay with the bank when I buy the bank. I don't want a lot of hot money or broker deposits or anything like that. So I want high levels of deposits, but I want them to be a smaller bank that is dealing with the scale issues, right? They're having problems with paying for the regulators. They're having problems keeping up on technology because it's expensive. So that's all combining to give them higher what we call efficiency ratios. Efficiency ratios are just simply a measure of how well you're dealing with expenses and controlling expenses. The higher the number it is, the worse you're doing. The industry average is about 50, so we want above that. So we want really good banks whose major problem is they're too small. Oh, you pronounce it Eau Claire. Sorry about that. My apologies. I should have known that actually, but I didn't. So my apologies. Anyway, there's that bank. So this is what we're looking for. So let's talk about Eagle Bank of Montana, EBMT. This is a bank that, I like this bank so much. I kind of wish nothing would happen, right? But I'm afraid it's going to in this environment. Montana is, look, if you watch Yellowstone or you have friends in Montana, you understand what Yellowstone has done to Montana as far as creating a whole bunch of folks. Well, they've done what COVID did to Florida, right? Everybody all of a sudden wants to live in Montana. So it's a growing.
I'm one of them. This is my end game, Tim. This is my end game. I'm working towards this every single day. I can't wait to live there.
So it's a growing area. There's going to be people that want to get into the Montana banking market. Doing it as a de novo, a startup, would be ridiculously difficult. Here's a bank with 29 branches in and around Montana, trading at pretty reasonable prices, looking for a big earnings bump this year. Mm-hmm. Below average return on assets, below average return on equity, decent dividends. So you're going to get paid 3.3% while you wait on this thing.
Trading below book value.
Trading below book, pristine loan portfolio, guys. I mean, they're mostly commercial real estate, but they have in commercial real estate that is not occupied by the owner, it's leased out. They have 28/100% of their loans are delinquent. In owner-occupied commercial real estate, none, 0%. But that doesn't fit with the narrative, does it? Of their loans are delinquent. Most of their deposits are sticky core deposits. So, I mean, this thing's got takeover target written all over it. Great bank, strong market, underperforming primarily because of size-related issues. Mm-hmm. Banking is a business of scale. The bigger you are, the easier it is to control the expenses, and therefore the higher your profits are. Buying this bank, you could wipe out 35% of fixed costs, raise the ROA from where it is at around 40 basis points up to 175 or 200 basis points, and it becomes a huge win-win for the acquiring bank. So trying not to do what I did last night by mistake and throw out stocks that are only trading 12 shares a day. Although, although they are my favorite, it's a really bad idea on a show with a pretty good viewership. So let's give you Provident Bancorp up in Amherst, Massachusetts. Now, Providence
on that one,
PVBC.
PVBC. Okay.
Yeah. Now, a few years ago, Providence, they kind of, and I'll call it what it is, it was a mistake. They got way too involved in banking, the digital currency, crypto industry. They were bankrolling the miners and financing them. And it was just a bad idea for a bank this size, because when the poop hit the fan, and it hits the fan all the time in crypto, there was nowhere to hide. So they had to take some loan losses, some write-offs. Naturally, the CEO, who I'd met several times and thought was a great guy and he had a cool vision, but wasn't able to execute, he had to go. So they bought a community bank focused team who said, all right, look, we're going to, run this business that we've got. We're going to let it kind of run off a little bit. And we're going to go back to being a community bank, serving the areas in and around, Amherst, Massachusetts, taking deposits and just being bankers. We're going to leave the cutting edge stuff to somebody else. So again, they've still got some problems that are running off from those prior crypto-related industries, but they'll slowly but surely run off. The stock is trading at a discount to book. They've got lots of sticky deposits. They're in Massachusetts, which has always been a high level of consolidation because it's a wealthy state. So Providence would think they really do need to be taken over. It's a tough comeback from what they did with the digital. It is running off, but the assets would be much more profitable in the hands of a more efficient manager, shall we say.
Okay. And this actually looks like you're able to get this here at a discount. So this doesn't look like a bad spot. Real quickly, what kind of premium are you looking for on some of these? Like stocks trading $11, you looking for like a takeover at 16, 17 or 20 or?
Well, generally speaking, right now deals are getting done right around 130% of tangible book value. So that's kind of what you're looking at initially. What you need to understand is that's really at a low level. That's a low premium. Okay. And it's low because there's been very limited activity and it's taken forever to get deals done because the FTC and the Fed have been dragging their feet all the way through. So deals today will be 130. 2 years from now, they're probably going to be at 150. There's a natural progression to these. And, when they get to like averages, and they've gotten there a few times in my career, when they get to an average of 1.75 or 2, we're done. Okay. It's all getting ready to come undone because that's way too high a level. And it's time to, perhaps drop out of contention. But we're not anywhere close to that now.
Yeah.
We're in the very, very first inning of what could be a ridiculously profitable several years of bank M&A activity. Now, again, this stuff is priced with such a huge margin of safety and at such discounted valuations that, all you need is a more favorable industry for these things to go a lot higher. Add some takeover juice on top of it, and a whole bunch of good stuff would happen. The nice part about this is they are going to be boring. You're buying them for a lot less than they're worth, and they have enough capital on the balance sheet to withstand just about anything that happens. So big margin of safety in each of the banks that I recommended here.
Okay, that's awesome. Love some of those longer term trades, things that you can just sit on, especially if they pay a dividend. Tim, really good stuff. As always, appreciate your expertise and your time. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys. Yes, you will. Thank you very much, and have a great rest of the week. And don't forget Saturday, the only football game that really matters. Army versus Navy. I grew up in Annapolis. There's only one thing I got left to say, Ryan. Go Navy.
Okay, sounds good. Go Navy. I think that is the only college football game on this weekend. Tim, take care. We will see you next week.
Okay, bye, guys.
That is Tim Melvin. He never disappoints. And look, folks, I know we always talk about, some of the big rippers and stocks that like to trade 100%. But let me tell you something. Having another angle of your portfolio that just kind of works for you, that you don't really have to think about and stress about. There's nothing like that. And Tim is extremely adept at finding us good purchases and good plays. Now, with Tim leaving, that leaves space for the one and only 13, because now we're going to get to some of these pre-market movers. 13, good morning. How are you doing, boss?
I'm doing all right. How are you? Did you do your homework?
Did I do my homework?
Your homework on the Google chips?
Oh, no, I didn't. But thanks for putting me on blast. As soon as I bring you on here, I totally can expect that. So no, I didn't. I actually got sidetracked. I started a new book last night. It's awesome, and I'm completely in. And I just stopped reading stuff. Now, stopped reading stuff about the market. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. I did kind of, as we were talking a little bit more about this, I did kind of realize why this was impressive. And I was really hopeful because I actually ended up taking Google home with me. I know we did this trade here live yesterday. I normally close out the trades that I open here on the show, but Google I took home. This trend line break seemed really awesome. Seemed like we were going to keep pushing up. We were actually stronger here in the pre-market. Actually moved down since the CPI print, which looks to buck the trend. Everything else seems to have popped up. So we'll see what happens here with Google. I'm still up. My average price here, 185.23. Was looking for 190, 190 plus. We'll see if we end up getting that here. But what do you got here, 13? What are you looking for?
Oh, I was just wondering if you had read into the chips, because I mean, even Elon Musk got into a discussion with the Google CEO. He was pretty impressed with how they're working. So he's thinking, wow, maybe we need to start picking those chips up. They even floated the idea of Google's chips in space. So we can get to that another time. But they seem to be really hitting it off, and it seemed like Musk was pretty impressed with what Google's produced here.
Well, we'll see if the market rewards that. Like I said, this was looking strong earlier today in the pre-market. Excuse me. We've kind of weakened ooff that, but let's see what the opening print has for us here today.
It was a big move, so I would expect it.
Yeah. No, I mean, Google doesn't offer. I mean, this was up 5.3% yesterday. That is a pretty big move for Google. Okay. You want to take a look at some of these movers here?
Sure.
All right. Where do you want to start? Do you have a list that you covered here? I've got a list that I can work off of too.
I've got a short list because I was kind of going down the rabbit hole a little bit with CADL.
Okay, perfect. That's actually at the top of the list here.
Yeah, so I was looking at this because I wanted to see this guy, what kind of movement or what the news was, and how much of this phase 3 result is getting priced into the move here today. Was looking at some other aspects of this particular drug that they have that met their primary endpoint in phase 3. It's still undergoing some phase 2 trials, and I believe that's the trial that's monitoring the progress of the people they were dosing with this. So they're still undergoing some trials with this particular drug that they had mentioned. I think that was CAN 2409.
Yep.
So
that's a prostate cancer drug.
Mm-hmm. So I was looking. I noticed that. Also noticed a bunch of insider selling ahead of this news, which kind of led me to wanting to go a little bit further into this and see, why they would want to be selling at all when this is a catalyst that can cause the stock to rip. It seems like they might need to do a cash raise because just looking at their balance sheet, their burn rate, it seems to me like with other stuff that they have going on there, they're going to need to raise some cash. So I think that's what we might end up seeing at some point with CADL, and that's why I think we might have seen some of that insider selling. We saw a lot of it in July as well.
So let me ask you a question here. So the news here is about results from its phase 3 trial.
Mm-hmm.
So is that one of the reasons why this was burning so much cash as they were going through that trial? Now that's over.
Yeah, well, phase 3 is it's a much broad, like a larger trial, and it covers a lot more. Well, they have a lot more patients that they utilize in these phase 3 trials. So yes, I would think that that's a much more expensive trial, but also they have they have another drug in the pipeline as well. That's not this particular one,
Mhm.
but the fact that they also have a concurrent clinical trial going on, and they're in phase 2 with that for monitoring the progress of these patients. It's still going to require a lot of cash. Now, you can go to their website and look at their pipeline and see where they're at with the different stages of this. And this one particular drug, CAN2409, is in 2 stages. And the first one was the phase 3, and the second one is the phase 2, which is the one they're still going. So I think that there's going to probably be a cash raise at some point with this one. It looks like they're going to need to do that. I haven't really noticed, and I didn't probably dig deep enough to find out. But I don't know if they have any partnerships with anybody else to help with this clinical trial. This should have a link to their pipeline that you can see.
Yeah, this is it. This was so I actually just kind of.
I think you went one step further.
Yeah, it's this. This was the pipeline here, and I went ahead and clicked on the can.
Yeah. Go back to the can and scroll down, because it'll show you like what stage they are at with their clinical trial.
Perfect. So here I put both of those links in the chat here. I'll be honest with you. I like when companies do this. It's easier for me to follow along with
To wrap it all up, the company does have 22 million shares in the float, so it is on a little bit heavier than we like, but at the same time not too heavy. We should still get some good trades out of this, but just keep in mind that they may do an offering or some kind of cash raise at some point. Could even be today. So that's just something I want to point out there, that they are going to need to do that.
Okay, key level that I'm looking at here is clearly going to be the VWAP. We've actually shown already this in the pre-market here. VWAP has provided support. We've bounced several times off that VWAP, although the bounces do seem to be shrinking in their amplitude. We'll see if we get another one here on CADL. I do have that VWAP here, 1137. So there we go. Mad Money. Can we cover CADL? Absolutely, we can. Let me know if that's what you were looking at. I'd be curious to know if you have any thoughts on how this is going to trade here today as well. Okay, I'm actually going to skip ahead here because I noticed that several members of the chat are talking about AMPG, ticker AMPG. This is Ampletech. First of all, was this on your list? I know you said you had kind of a short list here. It looks like this news.
Yeah, so I had this one, CADL, and LAES. Those are the ones I had on my list.
Perfect. I have LAES. We're going to do that next here. I also have RZLV, which is Resolve AI, which we've traded here recently. So we'll cover all of those.
And we'll cover what the folks are in the chat are saying too. Don't worry, we'll get to those.
Yeah, and I mean, we have plenty of time here. We got 28 minutes. We got the CPI print already out of the way. We're cooking today. We're doing good. AMPG here. This is Ampletech. Group shares are trading higher after the company announced the development and deployment of its proprietary low noise, cryogenic, high electron mobility transistor amplifiers. There we go. I got it all out there. Stocks up 70% here today. Quick look around the horn on this. Really negligible in terms of the short interest. We did in October have an open market buy. Looks like we had one in September and August as well. So we have had some pretty recent insider buys here on Ampletech, and this one fits right into our butter zone in terms of where we like to trade. Float 7.55 million. 13. What do you got here on this one?
Yeah, so these, the news is that they deployed the low noise HEMT amplifiers. Those are basically used for quantum computing computers that are that need cooling and run a little bit more efficiently. That's what they have here. That's what their device does. It looks like they need cash, but I saw that they did an offering recently, so that's probably not reflected in their balance sheet.
Yep.
So I would imagine that they don't need to do any kind of offering anytime soon. So yeah, there you go. You have it right there. They just did it in the last month.
Yeah, the last financial report here closed at the end of September, and this offering was done in November. So I think you're spot on with that, 13.
Yeah, so I think that they're not going to need to do any cash raise here. So, you trade this one with more confidence than maybe CADL. I don't know exactly how this is going to trade today. I haven't really taken a look at the charts. I was just trying to cover, aspects of the company and why it's moving. Let's see what we got here. So well above. Okay, so we're kind of running right now in pre-market 191, the current pre-market high. We're well above VWAP.
I'm
I'm sorry. Oh,
we're in
nice.
a gap. We're in a gap that fills here up at about 214. We're literally almost smack dab in the middle here. Did run up to a previous support zone, so maybe it finds some resistance here. But honestly, given where the price is here, I think that there's some opportunity here today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think this looks like it might end up going as, for sure it's going to go over 2. We have that gap fill where at about 215.
Yeah, I have it at 214, 215. Yeah, spot on.
Okay. Let's call that one of our earliest targets here. We're only about 30 cents away from that with the price action that's going on. So we'll look at that. We want to see a break of 2 and then get up to 214.15, and we'll figure out what to do from there because there's a lot of consolidation above that level.
Okay, really good stuff there. Good morning, Lion, Shannon, and Mike. Great to see you, Adit. Good morning as well. Deborah, good morning. All right. We got the whole crew in here. We are rolling. Oh, by the way, wanted to get some feedback from the group here. Our producers who were working like chickens with their head cut off yesterday to get everything ready went ahead and upgraded the stream. You should be able to watch the stream today in 1080p. That should make all of the visuals shared on screen easier to see. Let me know if that is the case for you and any other feedback you might have. Okay, 13. Let's go to the next one here in the list that you have on your screen. LAES. This is Seals Q Core. News here. WiseKey and the OISTE Foundation to launch Deep Tech for Peace movement. It's your news here. What do you make of this one?
I tried wrapping my head around what this newsprint was about.
I'm still trying.
I'm really trying to figure out exactly what they're trying to communicate here. It seems like there's certain chips that they've ICALPS has been working on, and they just want to try to, as far as I can understand, make it more accessible for countries that are interested in peacetime. I really can't tell you exactly. It's moving. Let's just stick with that. And it's moving for a reason that I can't exactly wrap my head around. Maybe some other folks in the chat can help us out with that. But apparently the market is rewarding this launch for Deep Tech for Peace movement. It's ambitious.
This is the best summary here. It is still kind of vague. WiseKey's contributions to the Deep Tech for Peace movement are rooted in decades of experience and steadfast commitment to developing technologies that enhance trust, security, and privacy in the digital age. Through its public key infrastructure, services, and blockchain-based platforms, WiseKey has provided secure digital identities and authentication tools to governments, international organizations, and enterprises, ensuring the integrity and trustworthiness of digital interaction. So it looks like it's trying to just increase trust and make the digital transaction field more robust. That's kind of what I'm gathering here. It's going to use blockchain to do that.
Yeah, that whole thing you said there, it seemed like a whole lot that absolutely said nothing to me. Not that you didn't say it, but that it just reads that way.
I was like, damn, tough crowd here, 13. You come out for the throat here.
I'm not coming after you. I'm not coming after you. I'm coming after this headline. But anyway, let's get back to how we can trade this. So the company does have cash, but I don't know of its burn rate because I can't get a read on their income statement. So I really can't say for sure with this one. This seems to be probably one of the more risky ones to trade today. So just put that in the back of your mind. This may be good. It could be pretty bad. Looks like the way it's set up right now, it's trying to recapture VWAP. So there's a possibility we might get to come back and recapture VWAP and move back up to the pre-market high of 164. That would probably be about the best case scenario for this one today. I don't know what else it would do beyond that. So just trade this how you will, but just keep in mind that this is a weird headline. We don't have a good read on the financials. So just understand the risk here with LAES.
Okay. Real good stuff there on LAES. Rigetti, just a really quick mention. I don't think there was any news on this. No, definitely not. So this actually looks like a relative volume mover from yesterday. Rigetti had an amazing day. A lot of those quantum names had an amazing day yesterday with that Google News here. Rigetti, no stranger to that. We actually did pop here on volume in the pre-market above 8. We lost that here so far, but we've held the VWAP. So I think we will have some trading opportunities as long as the volume sticks around here on RGTI. Traded this one yesterday as well. All right, let me get to Resolve. Did you have anything on this? Sorry.
Oh, no. This is definitely on my radar again today. I mean, it's already moving up 20% in the pre-market. So definitely we'll take a look at this one. The other quantum names too. And there's some, movers from yesterday that are still on the radar. So absolutely keep those on watch.
Okay, and here we go. Here's the last one. This news was from yesterday, but it was a little bit later in the day, certainly after we got off here. This is ticker RZLV, Romeo Zulu Lima Victor. Resolve AI to gain from strong partnership with Microsoft, Google, and Tether Wallet. We got that news here in the afternoon. Stock is up just over 23% here today. You can see we were actually as high as 280, although we've backed off. This actually sets up for a fairly decent trade. As long as we can hold this, I'm going to call this an intraday pre-market double bottom here at 232. As long as we hold this 230, I think we can make another move back to VWAP here at 251. We'll see if we get a trade cooking here. I don't have a float reading on this one. On average, the stock trades just under 1 million shares. Today, we've traded about 21 million shares, and we do actually have some coverage on this stock here. Roth MKM has a $4 price target. Cantor Fitzgerald has a $5 price target. Both of those are recent from this year, actually from this month this year. So looking pretty good here. RZLV. Do you have anything on this one? Do you like information here at all? Any chart or anything?
My broker says that it has 48.5 million shares in the float.
Okay, perfect.
So there's that. For this one, the thing I would want to see is maybe it continues to go down some more in the pre-market, but I'd like to see it at least try to find a bottom soon so that it can start to make its way back up before we get into the regular session. That would provide a nice setup for a continued move up. Maybe we get back up to 275, but got to recapture that VWAP still. So that'll be the first step. I want to see a recapture of VWAP, and then we can look towards 275 pre-market highs.
Okay, really good stuff. I just want to take a quick peek at some of the other tickers that are on here. YJ Yunji, this is up here a little bit. I don't see anything. This might just be China Pump. Yeah. Zone, this is Clean Core. This popped in the after hours yesterday. It's really kind of bled back here today. What was going on with that? Oh, right. Clean Core Solutions director and CEO bought 10,000 shares at 212. A recent insider buy here. Remember, we were actually just talking about insider buys and how important that can be. No stranger, this same guy has had five insider buys this year going back to April. It's like all of the prices that he paid above where the stock is right now at first buy was at $4. Interesting. $4, $3.5, $3, $2. This guy's buying it all the way down. So ticker ZONE, Clean Core Solutions, insider buy, and having a nice little 34% pop here today. Like I said, this is actually down from some of those highs from yesterday. So watch this one, watch the volume. That'll tell the story.
Good mention here from Robert about
there's no surprise on that.
Serve was making some moves here. Just had a nice breakout about an hour ago, maybe 45 minutes ago. Pushed up over 1539 and then came back in. I have 15 drawn here as a resistance level. Yep. So this is looking pretty good. Like let's see if we can get back over 15. We start holding over 15, we could end up going higher.
Yeah, here you go on that level. That really kind of stuck out even from the pre-market here. And yeah, that was also yesterday's intraday high as well. So, okay, awesome. All right. I want to go through a couple of these. PDCO, Patterson, this is going to be acquired. So there's no trade here. We already talked about Rigetti. Rigetti is actually still looking pretty good. Look, the other thing here is I think that Rigetti is going to be back and forth all day here today. I think we're going to have multiple opportunities on that. PRZO, that was a recent one that we kind of talked about. That's not really moving. QSI, that's Quantum C. This is moving with some of those quantum names. SLXN, boy, pretty big retracement here. What was their news on this? Yeah, appoints a new person to the board of directors, appoints renowned cancer therapeutics expert, Professor Amnon Peled, I hope I'm pronouncing the gentleman's name right, to the board of directors. So new board of directors, stock still up 14%. We'll see if we get some action there. You guys already talked about Serve. We talked about some of the quantum names.
You already talked about Broadcom?
We did not. AVGO, of
They
course.
have news.
No, we did not do that. Let's do that right now here. Oh, and that's recent news. Broadcom spiking here, up 5% here in the pre-market. Broadcom shares are trading higher following a report indicating Apple is working on an AI chip with the company. Boy, we knew that was coming.
Okay,
here.
So what does that tell you? They're working with Broadcom. What happened with TSM? Okay. I guess the thought here is
TSM saying that they were having trouble filling the orders that they already had.
That's kind of the point I'm making. Like, is something going on with TSM and Apple to where they're not going to get those 2 nanometer chips fulfilled, or what's the problem here? Like I have more questions than answers at this point when I see this.
I will say that on the surface, I actually think that this is really good news. I think you're starting to see some broadening out across the sector. That'd be great. And by the way, how is Apple doing on that? With that, this basically means there's news here about Apple developing an AI chip. Okay, Apple's higher here, but fractionally up just about 0.5%. Remember, that's also started moving with the CPI print. So
folks are mentioning folks are mentioning the earnings tomorrow for AVGO. Yep.
I believe, didn't we set up a trade with Anne Marie on Broadcom? It wasn't one from yesterday, but I feel like we did this recently.
Because the chart was looking pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Let me see if I can find that here. Ulta. Oh, this was her closing out all these gains. That's right. CRM, that was a massive win. Yeah.
So for 6 months, we've mostly been in a sideways channel with Broadcom. But this news, and maybe even the earnings could finally break us out of that. We've had a couple of dips out of it, but the 200 came in and just propped it right back into there.
Can't find the Broadcom trade. I'm pretty sure that she did. You know what though? Maybe post earnings we can set up a post earnings trade. Anyway, okay. Sorry, 13.
No worries.
Got sidetracked there.
No, it's great, and I'm getting a lot of good responses here in the chat. Maybe Taiwan hesitant,
I literally read that as you said it.
And what's interesting is this morning I was reading about how our happy hour chat they had mentioned that from TaiwanNews.com, Taiwan is saying that China is sending the largest naval fleet in years to the region. So geopolitical issues may also be prompting Apple to seek manufacturing of its chips elsewhere. Broadcom's definitely wanting to do it.
Yeah, and remember, we actually had recent news on the TSM angle that they were trying to produce more and more of their chips at the Arizona facility. Now, I don't know what kind of runway it's going to take or how long it's going to take to actually get that started, but that was a recent piece of news. Really quickly here, I know a lot of you guys are calling for a Avago breakout here. Indeed. I got the high print here, 186.42. Let me see if I can plop a line on that. We'll keep an eye on that level here. Here we go, 42. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. So possible breakout here. This actually might be another decent day trade for us here today. You probably do options or stock with this one.
Very, very clear ascending triangle. I'm sure people that are on both sides of
that. Sorry.
You just do that line where you said that horizontal line, and then just use you could pretty much just draw from those August 6th and or September 6th, a month apart, those lows, and just keep on drawing it through. You got an ascending triangle there. So really nice setup.
Boom. It's also been on an M&A kick. Okay, so hopefully Intel is in their purview. Now, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something, Bigabees? I don't know if that's going to happen, but that would be something.
Yeah, I'm kind of on two different sides of that, because at the same, you have different segments of Intel's business. I think that there is parts of Intel's business that Broadcom would want. I think there's parts they don't. So I don't know about completely acquiring Intel. Maybe they do. Maybe you're right, but I don't think they want everything that Intel has right now.
Yeah. We'll see. That actually looks like a pretty good chart to trade here. Elon, what was the news that sparked the move on GSAT yesterday? Tell me you don't have Benzinga Pro without saying I don't have Benzinga Pro. We had a rumor yesterday in the afternoon, right here, watching Globestar. Shares spike higher as traders circulate Apple to bring Globestar satellite connections to the smartwatch. I believe that was in 2025. It's not in this newsprint, but I remember reading that here. Centex to satellite. Yes, smartwatch in 2025 relying on satellites that Globestar has put up there. That's ticker GSAT. So that was it. You had that rumor yesterday that did spike the shares. This was in the afternoon. I was not listening to the squawk, or I didn't have my headphones on. I did have the squawk turned on. This is another example of one of those when you hear, especially some of this news on sectors that we've covered. We talked a lot about space, satellites, the whole 9 yards in the space sector here. When you see AI, I would also throw in here, when you hear one of these pieces of news on this is a really, really great scalping setup. I understand it had a huge impulse move and retraced most of that move, but there is opportunity here for you. Those rumors often pretty good to trade. So GSAT here, that's what popped it. Elon, see if we get some more action here today. A volume in the pre-market, fairly negligible at the moment.
Yeah, it's pretty sideways. So you can see that we have a channel right there that's been trading in since the regular, or was that after hours? That's after hours. I would just say, kind of put a rectangle around that channel, and that'll give you an idea of where the breakouts or breakdowns will be.
Okay.
And also where support and resistance could be, because, man, we might even still continue to be in this channel for a while. But it's GSAT, and it's got like a low float, right?
Here, let me. Sorry,
no, it doesn't. Actually, it's got a
question here. No, it's huge. 755.
Okay, so yeah, you might just probably remain in this channel until you get some catalyst that's going to prop it up like it did yesterday. Crow says UMAC expecting a breakout in his opinion.
UMAC. We'll take a look at UMAC. That was a recent runner here. Let's go back to the chart tab here. Here is UMAC. You know what? I see exactly what Crow is looking at. This $10 breakout level, right, Crow? That's pretty much what you're looking at right here. This would be Monday, Tuesday, and today in the pre-market. We've challenged this level each consecutive day. We've put in a higher low. I would agree with you, Crow. Watch 10 here. In fact, I might even cue this one up. Yeah, watch 10 here for a potential breakout. Good stuff, Crow.
So, yeah, this is the advisory board. Donald Trump Jr. Joining the advisory board. So, I'm wondering, do we see a similar move? Because we're finding a bottom. We're curling to turn around and try to trade higher. Where are we going to go to? Where's this going to trade to? Is this going to go right back up to almost 24 like it did, or higher? Or is that a whole move in? That would be the things I'd be wondering. But
yeah, like first target. If we break 10 here, first target I'd be looking for here is 12. We can start talking about maybe some of these gaps and maybe some of your lofty targets if we end up breaking that. But first one here is going to be $12.
Yeah, and when those lofty targets might not even matter because we don't have anything we can really draw on to see where this is going to go. This is still a pretty new company, only IPO'd this year.
Okay, what else you want to take a look at? We got 8 minutes till we open here. Lion bringing up Amazon, saying Amazon looking pretty good. It has been looking pretty good. Izzy, one of our traders in here, been all over Amazon recently. This has taken the next leg up. Looks like it's slowing down here just under 230. Maybe we get another break here on Amazon. At this point, I think that this could probably chill. Honestly, if this pulled back to 216, that might 216, maybe 216, 217, that actually might be a fairly decent swing setup here, as that would reset some of the RSI on Amazon. Still bullish here on Amazon. This has got a majority of my money this Christmas season when it comes to gifts and things like that. So I would imagine Amazon has a pretty good holiday season here. Chart looking great.
Well, CEO of Worldwide Amazon Store, Douglas Harrington, still selling. He was selling last week. So he's selling into the strength.
Okay.
But apparently Jeff is done selling for now.
Yeah, at least for now. At least for now. When he needs another yacht, we'll see what happens and we'll see where the price is. But for now, he looks to be done. So, okay. What else do you folks want to take a look at here this morning? I don't really have anything. I'm still kind of waiting for Google. Again, I know we had some late joiners here. Just to kind of recap, I did take the Google trade that we opened yesterday on this trend break with the news on the quantum chip that 13 called me out on already here today. This one, I actually kept this. So I know a lot of the times I end up closing these day trades that I get. by the end of the day. Not the case yesterday. Held Google overnight, and it actually had a pretty good pre-market here. It's come off the lows. I'm really hoping we pop out of the open, honestly.
Didn't some folks want to take a look at some of those Bitcoin names, like MicroStrategy?
I mean, I think that's a fairly safe bet. I think they always do. I don't recall anyone asking today, though. Excuse me.
And I think I may have seen it in the chat. And also, keep a serve on your radar. That just had a little bit of a spike there, and it looks like it really wants to take out 15. So just keep an eye on it. But anyway, sorry. But
no, I was going to say I'm going to go back here to the main workspace so we can keep an eye on that. Serve is popping up on the relative volume scanner, and you're right about that 15 level.
So let's see.
You're right about that. I'm going to cue that up too here. SERV. I actually don't see a lot of. Well, the market's not open yet. I don't see a lot of size there at 15, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. Okay, real quick, boy, you guys. I asked for some tickers. We got a whole bunch here.
You know, it's interesting. I'm looking at MicroStrategy, and in the pre-market right now, we are right, like almost to the penny, right at the 20-day SMA, trying to recapture. We're actually slightly over it by a matter of about 40 cents. But we are that to me that looks like the level that we need to that the price needs to get over and hold over today. I also have 385.75 as another level of interest as well, but seems like we need to push up over those and close above those, or else this might continue to go lower. And of course, the price of Bitcoin is going to make a big difference in where and how this trades as well.
Price of Bitcoin up this morning here on the Bitcoin futures chart, 99,475. Wouldn't be shocked if we see another cross through 100K here today. MSTR, by the way, big B's, big shouts. The purple rectangle that I have drawn on the chart here was the support area that you called. And so far, my man, that thing is holding up. We'll see if that changes here. Okay. Did look like there was some more news there. We can take a look at some of these other ones. Two pieces of news that I want to cover here real quick. We got 4 minutes. We got plenty of time. Mondelez, Mike mentioning Mondelez share buyback. Mondelez International shares are trading higher after the company announced a new $9 billion share repurchase authorization. Stock is up 3.75% here in the pre-market at about 64.5. See if Mondelez gets rolling here. That actually recaptured the 20. So we'll see if we end up doing that. And then the other piece of news was from Stay Focused. Good morning, Stay Focused. Great to see you here today. FGL, this is Founder Group. Stock's up 16% here. What is the news here? Founder Group partners with VC AI to co-develop advanced AI-powered unmanned aerial vehicle for solar farm inspections. This has all types of buzzwords in it. Unmanned aerial vehicle, AI-powered solar farm inspections. Boy, this thing might hit or might check a lot of boxes here. Stocks up again 15% here in the pre-market. It's $2. Might have a potential breakout here as well. Really like to see this thing challenge $3.
And they also apparently this is from last week. They're securing a conditional loan worth $68 million. So I don't know if that ended up going through or not. I would imagine it did, but that's something else to add to their balance sheet as well. Here we go with Serve.
Solar farm project. So there we go.
Here we go with Serve.
Is it right at 15? I'm gonna not trade this out of the in the pre-market. Excuse me. I'm actually gonna wait. I'm gonna try and be as patient as possible and wait for the opening print here. Wait for the regular session. Okay, Doc, yeah, we covered Rigetti. Rigetti is for sure, and it's not going to be the last time that we're on this one. This is on the relative volume scanner, likely going to have another day here today on Rigetti.
Serve rejected. Hit the slap down to VWAP.
So who's glad that they didn't want to trade it pre-market? No, sometimes it's nice when you have a call that materializes that quickly. Mm-hmm. Here you go on Serve. Nice little move back down to the
VWAP.
We'll watch this one too.
And did you cover SMCI today?
I did not, actually. Let's do that here real quick. Did I have that on my list? I didn't. Damn. What's happening here? SMCI. Looks like we're lower here in the pre-market.
Falling out of that consolidation.
Drops in pre-market despite Supermicro CEO assurance against delisting.
Just not good news all across. I don't know. I mean, I can see how people would want to trade this for different reasons, but I would not want to hold this.
Likely to be volatile here. It looks like they have confidence, though, that this is not going to be delisted. That's basically what they're saying here. $38 here in the pre-market.
Well, didn't they just lose or get kicked out of one of the indexes? I thought that's what some folks were saying. Is that what happened to Chad?
That would have been the S&P, right? Didn't it just get put in there?
Being removed from NASDAQ 100.
NASDAQ 100. Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, so that's
Mike.
Not great for SMCI. Doesn't really fit the narrative that the CEO is trying to push. So we'll see what happens with that one. But falling out of that channel that I was looking at as where we could find that resistance, so far that's held up. So the good thing is, though, for the stock is that it's still above the 50-day SMA. So that's going to be support until it isn't. But I would think that that provides some support for the time being and tries to help push it back into the consolidation channel. Here we go.
There's your bell. We are open. Sideshow, did you get the bell there? Did you get the sound coming through?
I sure did. And
you did hear it. Okay,
I heard it.
Okay, sweet.
Look at that. Look at that wall there at 15 on serve. They're trying to push that up through there. But the MACD is showing that this is trying to go lower. So watch VWAP for a loss there. If we start losing VWAP, then we have to look at something else. But this is interesting price action out of the open here. Which way is it going to go, folks?
Okay. Let's take a look and see. Here's CADL. So I'm going to take a look really quickly. I'm going to go to Google. Remember, I held this trade from yesterday. There we go. Let's get above that VWAP. Come on, Google. Let's get above that VWAP. Go back. I'm looking for 190 on this trade. Looking for 190. We'll see if I get it. Keep you posted.
1406 seems to be the big level to get over for CADL. Put in that print in the after hours yesterday and in the pre-market this morning. I believe that was pre-market, wasn't it? Yes. No, I'm sorry. It was both in the pre-market.
CADL trading up to the top end of that range here. Serve pulling.
Serve is serve pulling. CADL breaking out. This is breaking a trend.
Stitch Fix trying to take out the high from yesterday on the earnings pop. SFix. Zone getting mentioned here by Crow. Looks like that traded up to its VWAP and got rejected.
RZLV resolve. That's resolving lower.
Yep. AMPG coming back into its VWAP here. We'll see if we catch a bounce.
LAES is trying to recapture VWAP right now. If it does, it's looking like 175. I'm sorry, 120 is the level that it's going to try to break out of. There's a lot of sell overs there. Sorry.
188's on Google. Here goes cattle. I was a little too late to that. I was a little too late for that. Looking for 13.25. It's going to halt here.
Yeah, it's going to halt, and then once it opens, we should see it pop over 14.
Okay, that'd be sweet. That'd be sweet. I did fill a little bit here. We'll see. I'm a little nervous. Filled a little bit ahead of that halt. Had to use a market to get in there. Market order, that is. Sorry.
All right. So, cattle was getting rejected. Then it finally broke through. Yes, cattle is halted.
Yep.
Crow's mentioning Zone, and Carmen is mentioning LFG. Let's take a look at these. I don't see. Oh, maybe she's just saying let's effing go. Sorry. My mistake. So the other one was what? Zone,
and that is popping above the VWAP here on Zone. Google 189, giddy up. This is what we were hoping. This is why we took it home. Right to the VWAP, right to the pre-market high. Let's get a 190 pop. We'll close this trade.
185 is resistance area in Zone, based on previous price action back from October and earlier in the year.
Google calls flowing here. Tesla calls flowing right out of the open. Tesla looks like that is trading up to the pre-market high as well.
Serve coming down to the pre-market lows, 1398. That rejection at 15 was quite robust.
Izzy mentioning that Archer and Joby's down. There was news here on Joby this morning that was bringing that in. Let me go ahead and grab that here for you real quick. Joby Aviation enters into an equity distribution agreement, $300 million. That was in the after hours yesterday. Joby down 7% here today.
Okay, looks like RZLV is trying to turn around here. It's coming back up to some pretty good consolidation from the pre-market, so it might have a time trying to chew through that, but it seems to end at around 245, 250. And when I look at the price ladder here, it seems like 244 has some of the largest concentration of sell orders there. So that's the level to get through there on that one. That's RZLB.
Actually, this is GOOG here, 189. It's going for that 190. Let's pop that 190, baby. This was awesome. Are we ripping or dropping this morning? We're ripping, dude. We are ripping here. Yep.
And if you find the time, I really encourage you to read into those.
I will.
chips.
I just got sidetracked yesterday.
I understand, dude. You're a busy dude. I totally get it. I'm not being, a smart ass either. You really are a busy guy.
We will definitely take a. Here we go on Google. Let's see. There's 190 and above.
Remind me of the price I said it was going to go to.
200.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we're not going to necessarily sell.
Oh God, that was such a boast too. But no, I believe this is going to go to 200 following that inverse head and shoulders we identified a while back. But then they had this news, and it's just pushing it up even more. So this is looking great. Oh, well done.
25% on Goog, hustle and bustle, just out here getting it done. You love it. Are we going for 191 here? Are we going for 191? It sure looks like it. Man, oh man. And see, this is the thing. The big gains in this trade really happened today. It is this power candle or series of power candles right out of the open here. This is one of the reasons we had gains yesterday. This is one of the reasons why I didn't want to close it yesterday. That news looks like we've got some carry through here. Google, that is how we start the day.
Yep.
We didn't quite get 191. We're out on this trade. Awesome stuff. Let's go. This might still go higher. I just wanted to get that trade booked. Oh, gorgeous.
RZ
in the morning here. Now we need CADL to pop out of this halt, and I'll really be in good shape today.
RZLV, that one did break through some of that consolidation, coming up to some earlier pre-market consolidation now. Highs of this one in the pre-market are 279, and we're only about 29 cents away from that. So maybe if we get some pullback, price action, some consolidation before we push higher, we could take that out. Actually, we're moving up right now. So let's see what the RZLV can do. It's just still going.
It sure is. This is past the VWAP here. This was a really good mention. AI getting mentioned here. Down we go. Watch this intraday low from yesterday. I'm going to call this 36.75 on AI. That's C3 AI here. C3 AI share is trading lower after JP Morgan downgraded the stock from neutral to overweight. Not really a huge surprise there.
And you know what? That's a pretty timely downgrade too, because if you look the day before, this thing was really extended. So, kind of a forced cooling off, if you will. I still think this ends up going back up. We had the earnings were pretty good. They guided pretty good. So right.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention here real quick. CADL is open.
Oh, nice.
They actually pulled a little bit, but not a whole lot. Here we go, setting up to go higher here. Let's see if we get a pop on this. I can go back there. I just wanted to mention that this opened 13.
Yeah, no problem. So anyway, AI probably is just needing to cool off, like what the downgrade is going to do. So once it comes back in, finds a base, this should be good to start picking up and trading again.
Okay, CADL, this is wild out of the unhalt. Tried to pull back down to the VWAP here. It's still trying to decide, is it going to snap 14 or is it going to come back into the VWAP? That VWAP down there at 1180. I'd rather not hold into that. But we'll see here. Got to make a decision here. It was kind of a small position taking this, and it still feels like it might have the juice.
Oh, serve just absolutely slaughtered now. 15 rejection, not good for it.
I don't see it on my list here.
Serve?
Probably because it turned down like you were
just
there.
Yeah, it absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my
broad sorted.
Oh my it broad Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Cattle trying to get back up over 14. Might try to do it here. It's a wild one today.
Yeah, this one is wild. I actually thought that this might be a little bit stronger right out of that halt. But go yet. If it really pulls here, I'll probably just close.
Spready too.
Yeah, that seems normal for it. Let's see if we pop above here, though. Let's see if we shake out some of those sellers here and try and move higher. Izzy, you're mentioning ONDS. Yep, the nice move up to $1. We had a nice move yesterday, too, up to $1.07 there. You've done a great job trading this, by the way. Go ahead and give you a cash register ring. Yesterday, here was the news. Ondas shares are trading higher if the company was selected to lead a commercial partner to provide resilient, scaled drone operations with over 100 drone use cases identified by the city of Austin. So really good stuff there on ONDS.
It looks like LAES is trying to push through some resistance here at 120.
There's the break on cattle that we were waiting for. Let's go. We'll take that.
Yep, 1460.
Push up here to 15. I got my order out there. 1445. Oh, just popped up there. 1441 looked to be that high, and now it's sinking. And back beneath 14.
Raj mentioning that C3 announced a new partnership just a moment ago.
So here's the thing. I think you were asking about C3 AI. I'll be honest with you, this is a trading vehicle only, at least in my opinion. I'm happy to listen to some other bull or bear cases for it, but I do think this is a trading vehicle, especially right now. The stock is extremely expensive. We have a market cap here of 5.3 billion. Stock makes 87 million. It is extremely expensive. I'd much rather be buying one of these AI stocks that's $2-3 as opposed to $30-40.
LAES is chunking away, getting into some consolidation from pre-market. 132, the breakout of that consolidation. I'm looking at.
Go.
Huh?
I said, here we go on LAES, right to that VWAP and through it, just as you were talking.
Looks like AMPG might also be trying to turn around as well. Has a big resistance area at 175. LAES, that's still slowly pushing up.
Here is your AMPG. I kind of like where this is sitting at 13. I like the wicks beneath the VWAP here too. It looks like it's holding it.
And you're out of your CADL trade, right?
Yes.
Oh, dude, that was great. That was a great trade.
It was small. It didn't really make a whole lot. I wanted 1440. When it started to pull, I just cut it, but it's all right. Green on the screen.
But you got 1460, even if you weren't in it.
Yeah, you got it. I didn't have the order out there at 1460, so maybe I didn't do a good job. Let's see what I did here. Yeah. Oh my God. So with that pull off that area, I ended up making 17 cents on cattle. All flash, really no money there, but that's all right. It's still green. Technically, it's still green. And remember, the Google trade from yesterday, that was really the big thing. So
it's a green 1-for-1 trade. It's a 1-for-1 trade.
And I'm going to call it 2-for-2 because I actually closed the Google one from yesterday. So that ended up working.
That's not a bad idea, X-Sniper. He's been sitting on his hands more and more every day lately. We're also
that's smart. Don't overtrade. Yeah.
Look at RZLV. This one's also pushing up here. Pre-market in this one, highs in this one is at 279, and we're getting pretty close there. Last big barrier is get over 270, and then we might be able to hit that number.
Watch this one too, RZLV. That was a nice move through VWAP. Not in this one, sadly. Also, LAES halted. Good call there, Yorkie. RZLV continuing to go to that pre-market high. Watch that 280 level here on RZLV. And yeah, LAES was halted up. Yes. Sorry, I didn't mention that when I mentioned that it was halted here.
Oh man, that's 3 good ones that we just managed to notice before they started really moving. We're doing good this morning, guys.
We're doing good this morning. This whole entire week has really been incredible.
And here we go, approaching the pre-market highs for LZLV. Just shy, like 2 cents shy of that high. So if we reject here, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to get a breakout later, but this has been a resistance area all morning for this one. this 275 to 280 area, and it's pulling.
AMPG recently took the VWAP. That's trying to go higher here on AMPG.
Yep, that one's turning around. 218, the pre-market high. This one could get going as well. Watch for a break through through this area between 195 and 2. There's a lot of sellers, like about 60,000 shares trying to get sold. That could be get chewed up with this volume. So watch for a break through that.
Okay.
See if we end up getting that. Here we go. Come on. I think it might end up.
Nice little push there. Sorry.
Yep. No, I was just thinking if we pop through that, this could maybe trigger a halt, but we need the volume to chew through too.
W key here. This was the other end of that LAES news story here. This at the highs, looking like it might try to take out 280. SXTP getting mentioned in the chat here. This curling off those pre-market lows and trading up here. This is actually a decent move, a little extended from the VWAP, but a pretty decent move if you were in it. No position for me on that one. Rich Tech Robotics, ticker RR. This one has moved with Serve before. This having a much better day than Serve at the moment. Where did Serve end up finishing at? Oh, that really yanked in this kind of bear flagging lower here. Broadcom near its highs.
I'm I don't want to say it for sure, but I'm feeling like Serve may have found a short-term bottom for now. If you look at where the price ended up, we went right back to where pretty much where it opened yesterday, or where pre-market consolidation was from yesterday. So interesting support level that it found there. Let's see if it holds up and recaptures VWAP.
Okay.
RZLV with the great movement it had, looking a little bit weaker up around the 275 area, losing VWAP right now as I say that. So if it cannot hold above VWAP, then
that 280 area is definitely an area to watch if we can end up getting up there.
And it could be that it's just not able to get it right now, but it could come back later on and just blast right through it. We've seen that happen plenty of times throughout the day on these names.
Average options asking, is anyone short on Palantir? So this is actually really good timing. Palantir does appear to be on the backside of the move. Look at this. If you were able to short that, what felt like a blow off top there, Palantir, nice move down. This is what, 12 points down from that recent high here. Looks like we're about to test that 20-day moving average at 66. Average options, I am not short Palantir. Last time I was trading this, I was long. It was a gangbusters trade. I do like what this thing can pull back. That would actually be really good for it. I think we identified the 61.35 as a potential pullback level, but no short position for me at the moment.
Stock Profit pointing out the one we've been trading all week, GXAI, having another pop over VWAP now. Currently trying to hold above it with a nasty looking wick. So let's see if this can hold above VWAP. But if it does, we might be able to see some of those pre-market highs again. We're at 664 we had earlier this morning.
Okay, good stuff here on GXAI.
CADL halted the downside, looking not great.
Glad. Well, you know what though? This downside halt is right at its VWAP. So I'm not, I'm glad I'm not holding into this. Didn't get what I had hoped for. Ended up getting a little bit less, but that's okay. Kind of a gamble trade.
LAES just opened. Current candle is inside the last one it just made before the halt, trying to push higher. I see at 150 there's a pretty good amount of sell orders for people wanting to try to get out of this. So see what happens when we get up there if we do push that high. RR is starting to look more like SERV now. We're getting a lot of pull in this.
Petty stock, which is trading higher here on SENS. GameStop resolving higher after its earnings.
We're getting a lot of pull in these names we were looking at earlier. Just also noticed QMCO had a nice move out of the gate here, going as high as 2661. Before that, just pulled a moment ago.
Okay, quantum name there. Izzy, great job on that ONDS trade. Ring that register. I'll tell you what, I know you've been short-term trading this one, but I feel like this name has given you a bunch of profits here recently. We'll take that all day long. That's for sure. Robert mentioning Costco, my favorite store. We did get above 1,000 there. Finally, some 1,000 prints here on Costco. Earnings tomorrow after market closes. COST.
Keep an eye on Rigetti. This fell out of the open and got some really good support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, and it turned around, and we're right back almost to where we opened. So keep an eye on Rigetti. We have a pre-market high on this one of 846.
Okay.
A-Lab is popping, says Robert.
Yeah, so X-Sniper here mentioning that it's been pulling like this for a week or two, no gains being held at all. This is one of the things that we have said here. Don't be afraid to take your gains if you get it. That's okay.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, all the names we've been trading this morning, they all look like they're getting pulled right now. RZLV lower, LAES, inside candle right now, but it looks like that wants to go lower. AMPG lower. CADL halted to the downside. Might just need to wait for these to find a bottom, and then we can, we can catch the rebounds.
W key might be trying to go.
What's the share structure on that one like?
GELS halt. That was one from yesterday. That's a downside halt here. Cardiff from yesterday. Watch 4 here on Cardiff. I know that you were trading this one yesterday, 13.
Yeah, I believe I was. Yeah. For W key, the free float that I have for my broker is 9.79 million. That's sweet spot. All right. So serve, waiting to see if this is going to be resolving lower or if this is trying to turn around. At the moment, it looks like it doesn't look too good to me, but we're not too far away from VWAP. A little bit more time. I'm going to wait for that.
LDTC, this one's halted here.
LAES, this one looking pretty good. It's still above VWAP, kind of putting in some support around 120. Let's see if that holds. 120, 121. Let's see if that holds and pushes up higher into the 130s.
Okay, Broadcom getting mentioned here. Let's see how Avago is doing. Nice break of the high there. How's Google doing? Am I going to regret selling that? 192. Google continuing to go higher here. We flagged that one. We popped that trade. That was good.
LAES into the 130s now. Looking for a break over 134. Got a good sized wall there. It needs to chew through.
That's Tesla. Ooh, Tesla reversed off that move higher here. 10-point range already on Tesla today.
UNH getting hammered. You know what? I'd be willing to bet that a lot of insurance stocks are getting hammered, like a lot. I think we pointed out by looking at the insurance ETF KIE that we saw some clear weakness in their daily chart. Oh my God, look at this thing.
That had a big move down yesterday too.
Yeah, it lost its 50, and it's had a really good run. So there's a couple of things here at play with the insurance industry right now, and sentiment is not great. Because if they're celebrating the murder of a CEO, I mean, you can have your opinions on the insurance industry. I'm probably right there with you, but murdering is never the answer.
Totally agree. It's really disgusting, actually.
So this could really rock the insurance markets. This could make a lot of people less inclined to hold insurance company names. So the insurance ETF kind of giving you a really clear indication of that. Just nothing but red days, almost exactly to the moment that happened. I think. Can't murder.
Zone, by the way, this is actually doing a fairly decent job holding above that 177 VWAP here. It's coming back in a little bit, but it's not breaking down here. Cardiff, we did get those prints above 4, CRDF, that ticker here, as that continues to move.
LAES not able to break over 135 yet. That's the big level to get over. So if we continue to hold VWAP and get some increased volume, that's the breakout level, 135.
Cattle is open, and just like I had said here, watch that area. It did hold that VWAP, so it really halted right at VWAP. So far, it's holding that. It is bouncing here. So that was the trade here on cattle. The one that I took. I think I just got lucky on, not great, but the add at VWAP looking like that's a little bit better here. CADL.
For me, this one needs to get back above 1270.
Okay,
I have that as a marked level.
It is on its way to that right now. Let's look around here. Tesla, that was a crazy reversal. Bitcoin futures chart above 100K here, 100,240 on the Bitcoin futures. Let's go ahead and take a look at the spot price here for Bitcoin.
MicroStrategy having a good morning off of that, almost back to 400.
99,500 is your price here on Bitcoin. So the futures chart hit above it, but 99.5 on the spot price here. What was the one that you were just mentioning? MicroStrategy, MSTR.
RZLV might be trying to, I think our VWAPs might be different, but it's trying to recapture VWAP. I have it currently at 250. It's almost there.
You, Amy, this is still going here. This is your antimony play, having a pretty decent day. SXTP, we talked about that being a little extended from its VWAP, still there, actually still maintaining some of that strength. RZLV, after that big pull that took us through the VWAP, maybe we're bouncing here to reclaim that.
Right. That's right, Jeremy. I mean, all those Bitcoin names will move with BTC. But if you want a pure play Bitcoin only, and you don't want to try to have your own crypto account, IBIT's the way to go if you want to hold it. Thoughts on Uber? Sure, I'll take a look on that.
Yeah, we can take a look.
It looks like it wants to have a date with its 500-day SMA. We're at a pretty important level here that we just lost. That was a support level at about 63. Looking at that from the low of May. I don't like the way this looks. Let's see what news we got here. It's pulling this down.
Yeah.
Oh, the Waymo or Waymo.
Yeah, the Waymo. Well, that was GM canceling their their Cruise robo-taxi thing. That should be a net positive for Tesla and Waymo. There was also some news here on Uber. Uber under FTC probe for possible consumer law violations with Uber One, their subscription service. Now that was back November 27th. November 27th. Yeah, we've had a recent down move, but there was a bigger down move. This was earnings, right? Halloween, October 31st. That was their earnings, I believe. Let me check.
Well, what was the deal on October 11th?
Down.
There's something that happened earlier than that, than October 11th. That it could have just been that it was super extended. Let's see here.
Yeah, and by the way, that Halloween, that October 31st, that was indeed the earnings. You were saying October 11th?
11th or 12th, yeah.
October 17th, Uber explored takeover bid for Expedia. I don't think anything materialized out of that. Here's your thing. October 11th.
Oh, I see. It might have been with Elon Musk's robo-taxi fleet.
Yeah,
that could affect Uber.
That's what it was. Yep.
Okay, so that's the reason for this downside we've been experiencing since October. So that out of the way, let's look at something else here. We have an RSI of under 30 now. So I would think that in relatively short order, like maybe tomorrow, possibly today, there's going to be some kind of RSI bounce. Don't know exactly what price that is, but you do have a couple of levels here where that might occur. Maybe somewhere within the 58 handle. I could see that happening after we fill the gap created from August 5th to 6th. That could be something where you could get support. And then other than that, you have the 500-day SMA, which I currently have at 55.52. So a couple of levels for you for support. I think we are going to get a bounce here with how low the RSI is. It's just I'm not exactly sure where that is, but I've given you some levels of where it could possibly happen.
LDTC pulled off those highs here, holding at 250. Cattle here still actually looking pretty good. I think if it can get above 1250 here, maybe you can make a move back to that 13. Haven't taken another stab at it. We'll see if we get that though.
So here's the thing I was looking at with Serve. We did kind of hold down there because that 1215 level that came right down to this the pre-market and actually close to the open from yesterday. So that was a pretty interesting looking support level. So if we continue to get this movement with Serve, we're going to recapture VWAP and we might have the ability to trade this again.
Okay. Let's see if it breaks. This is a good spot. Way to not give up on this 13.
I'm not in it, but
no. I'm saying, but I watched it plunge and I
Mhm.
started looking elsewhere, and you kind of stuck with it here and looking for a potential trade. So
GXAI new intraday highs, looking for the pre-market highs of 664, about 40 cents away from that. That was a good mention earlier from I think it was Stock Profit.
It sure was.
Yeah, Jeremy, I did. That's in my opinion, and I don't know if anything else out there, but that is the best pure play Bitcoin ETF. All that's in that ETF is just only Bitcoin. All right, what else do we have here? Looks like RR is going to be resolving lower. Yeah, this is not anything interesting to me.
Google 194, just no chill here in Google. That continues to push higher here. Awesome stuff.
Oh God, I'm gonna get some flowers and happy hour, aren't I?
I hope so.
I'm being a little bit of a jerk about that. No, I think this is going to 200. I mean, this is gonna the setup was just too good. It's going to 200, and that news, these chips, God, these chips are so cool. Read into that if you can, folks.
Yeah, I will.
Looks like JTAI is having some movement as well, but it's not like the big robust movement some of these other names like GXAI is having.
Zone still holding above its VWAP here, ZONE. Wait to see if that can take 190. That looks to be the spot there.
Yes, stay focused. It absolutely is. Lots of good liquidity there. Robert mentioning if AVGO breaks 716, oops, it might run. Let me take a look at AVGO here. I want to see that. Now you said AVGO 67.
Gotta be a mistake there.
Yeah,
gotta be a typo. I think he meant ASML.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think he meant ASML. That 716 level, that's actually just beneath the 50-day here at 717.
Yeah, I see that. Okay, that must be what he meant. Yeah, I mean, it's, that 50-day SMA has been keeping that price down all month. But the way it keeps hammering it, I feel like it's gonna push through it at some point. Maybe that day's today. So it's a good mention there, Robert.
LNKS Linkers Industry, this halted to the upside here.
He's saying no, it's AVGO. You're talking about AVGO 716, but the price in AVGO is 180.
He said sorry.
Okay. All right. Figuring that out.
Real quickly here, Dow, big time sell. Big time rollover here on the Dow. We getting any news on that?
Well,
what might be affecting some of those Dow stocks? Holy smokes! The whole market was pretty strong here. SPY and Nasdaq at the highs. Dow not participating.
What about the IWM? That's slightly up. Let's see here.
This rolled over like the Dow did, though. IWM.
Watch list. Okay, so let's take a look at our Dow 30 watch list and see which ones are getting hammered the most. United Health Group pulling down the sector mostly.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
And then you also have Travelers Companies, TRV. That's the second biggest loser today. And then Dow, DOW itself. Johnson & Johnson also down. So those are the biggest, those are the losers that are causing the biggest pull here in the Dow. So, and then of course, okay, so IBM just crossed into the 1% area.
Amazon at the highs.
Yeah. Yeah, UNH, Humana, all those insurance names. I don't think
Estow here. A good call. Stay focused. This is a fairly decent trade here on Estow.
Let me see here. Yeah, Progressive Group slightly down.
I'm going to step away for 1 sec here, 13. I'll be right back.
What's the Anthem? Isn't Anthem another insurance company? What's the ticker for that? Help me out, folks. It's not ATHM. Wishful thinking. You don't think cattle wants to go below 12? Let me just take a look at that. I mean, I don't disagree with that. That's been kind of where the support is in that one. Yeah, I have 12 even as a support level. So let's see if it can hold that. Amazon, Netflix, Google, and Apple run. So, we could just also be getting some rotation among the Mag 7. Selling out of NVIDIA to make room for some of these other names that are getting more attention now or have better news. Let's see if that's reflected here. No, NVIDIA up today. All the Mag 7 up today. All of them are, which is probably why the SPY is up and not the Dow. Is it Anthem or Athena? I thought it was Anthem. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, I think that I was just curious because I was looking at different insurance companies because it seems like the whole sector is just having a bad day. Robert, great mention on CADL. That is starting to turn around and get some volume. It is pushing up to VWAP right now. VWAP I currently have at 1295. It is really getting some volume here, folks. Or at the very least, price action from it being spready. Almost right up to VWAP. Hey, Ryan, we were just taking a look at cattle. CADL. Okay. That had some movement here just a second ago, mentioned by Robert before it started going.
Tell you what, right to that VWAP. Here we go, cattle.
Okay, so all right, AVGO needs to break 184. All right, let's look at that now. I want to see this 184 level. That's okay. So our highs on this was like kind of in the 186 area, but I see you're talking about with 184 because it seems like there's more real bodies at that price because you go beyond 184, you have mostly just wicks. So not necessarily many closes. I only see a couple closes above there, and I see a lot more wicks above that. So good mention on 184.
Cardiff continuing higher here. This is actually above yesterday's intraday high. AMPG curling.
Lion Atlas mentioning Summit.
Yeah, I just took a quick look at that. Do we have news on Summit? Yeah, Wells Fargo initiating coverage, $30 price target here on Summit. It's up 4% here today.
Yeah, I ran in 1925. Beneath my view up right now, I have that at 1882.
Rigetti, kind of a disappointing day here, is that lost all of its pre-market gains.
All right, looks like some of these are really starting to pull back now.
RZLV tried to pop and go above its VWAP, rejected at the VWAP. See if that can get above it.
Same thing with AMPG. That one's trying to pop above its VWAP as well.
Maybe on that second attempt, it'll be strong enough to go through.
Trading hasn't been bad, but the follow through on these is much more muted than it has been lately. So
you've had to take your gains on them. You've had to take your gains on them for sure.
Take your gains, sell into the strength. Don't get greedy and think, oh, I could just go a little bit more. It might pull on you.
That's exactly what cattle did. I was looking for a spot a little bit above where it was at and ended up having to sell it.
That's what it's doing now.
Yeah.
It's going lower now. It's for low of the regular session now. VWAP projection.
Okay.
Next support area I have is 11.
Okay, not in it. No position here in cattle.
Just kind of looking around, seeing what's
man.
setting up.
Apple at the highs here. Looks like 250 coming here on Apple. Be curious to see what it does there. Costco also kind of flagging up here. Costco looking good above 1,000. You love to see it. Netflix. Who mentioned Netflix earlier? Who was on Netflix earlier? It's up another 2.4% here.
Big B's mentioning MSTR over 400 now.
Oh, that's, what's awesome about that? That is holding his support level clean. Really nice move here, MSTR.
Bitcoin still not spot price over 100 yet, 100K.
Amazon at the highs. Wow, 230. Nice rip there on Amazon.
Yeah, that really turned SPY around. I mean, what is the thought here with this? I didn't really think the CPI print warranted this kind of movement, but
no, it didn't.
Here we are.
It was just in line across the board. I mean, it was kind of what we anticipated, right?
Sticky. Third month core CPI has been at 3.3. Slightly higher food prices, rebounding energy, that kind of stuff. All right. Well, just looking around, trying to find something that's setting up and, makes you want to trade it. What are you folks looking at? Do you see anything?
GXAI here. This is doing a fairly decent job holding above its VWAP. It's trying to curl back towards the intraday high there. Have that print there at 640. GXAI. One of the better looking ones. How's Palantir looking? You guys are mentioning Palantir here. Let's take a look at that real fast. Okay, so Palantir did come in. It looks like it tried to bounce there off 68, but it's rolling back over here. I'd like to see Palantir really kind of retrace this move on the daily a little bit more before taking another stab at it. I'd rather swing Palantir than day trade it personally. But I'd like to see this pull back a little bit more first. How's LAES doing? Oops, wrong chart here. LAS right down there at the lows. AMPG, that's still beneath its VWAP. On this one on AMPG, I'd actually wait. Here we go. Maybe a VWAP test coming right here. I'd wait to see if we can move above that AMPG. Yeah,
there that one goes. Okay, so that one looks pretty good as long as it can hold VWAP.
Sideshow, you're 5 for 5 right now. Oh man, looking to go 6 for 6. That's a pretty damn good day, dude. AMPG did stop right there at the VWAP. We'll see if it has enough strength to move through here. 167, that spot.
What did it end up printing as the high? 169. So it didn't quite get up to 170. But yeah, that 180 does look interesting. Here we go. Now it's pushing through. It's pushing through my VWAP.
Yep, same.
Bank of Canada lowers rate by 50 basis points. I think we're getting a cut next week too, but not by 50.
AMPG here. Nice little push away from the VWAP. Okay.
Look good.
Decent little scalp there.
175 is the resistance that it's trying to push through right now. You can see that from the price action we got in the regular session this morning. They're really starting to bring in a lot of orders there to sell out. They're chewing through them. Might get your 180.
LDTC, this came back towards the VWAP. Did not quite test it, but bounced off that. I'm going to check in on Google here again real quick. 194. So it looks like that high there was 195. That was a good move. Maybe this sets up, comes back into VWAP at 191 and then gives you that push to 200 that you were looking for, 13. That might be on deck here. CRM calls flowing across. How are these any good?
And just for the record, that 200, if we get there soon, that's much sooner than I was looking for.
Okay.
By a lot.
CRM here, the call flow, not crazy, fairly aggressive. This is trading up right into the highs here, 2.6% here on CRM. No position on this one. More repeat call flow here on CRM, though. More. 365 is the strike that's being hit.
Yeah, James, PLTR has been selling a lot lately because it's just been very extended. I don't think the market cap was maybe investors were just looking at the market cap and thinking, I don't think the price justifies this.
Apple, who Buzz, you're mentioning this. Apple printed $249.99 and pulled back. Indeed, that is the exact print. Which one?
AMPG popped up to 180 here.
There we go. There is some size here, 179, 180, 181. All of it's manageable.
Yes, sir.
Zone is pushing now. Indeed, new highs here on Zone.
And Ashu is mentioning SoundHound. So
SOUN, let's take a look.
This one down today. What does the 5-minute chart look like?
SOUN about to have a date with its VWAP here, 1337. Elite VWAP 1337 right here.
It looks like it's trying to turn around. I need to see some closes on this 5-minute chart above the VWAP, and then I'll feel more comfortable about it because I don't want this to bear flag on anybody. If this does resolve lower, I have 1245 as a support level. But if we turn around and break out here, it's likely going back over 1410.
Nice job.
Is he bought the dip on SoundHound? So you got it close to the
roll here.
Yeah, you got it around what like close to 1275, somewhere around there. Meta 52-week high, or is it an all-time high? Pretty sure that they are just continuing to break out into uncharted territory here. Yep, all-time high. Meta. Mag 7 continue to rip. All right, let's see here. Back to SPY. That's over at 607 now. We have a all-time high on that one of 609.07.
Man, Coinbase. Nice little move here on Coinbase. PLAB. Someone was asking about this one earlier. This Phototronic shares trading higher after company report better than expected Q4 financial results and issued Q1 revenue guidance with its midpoint above estimates. This gave back the little pop that we had out of the open here, but still holding higher here, plus 15% on PLAB. BBAI getting a mention here. It's moving with some of those other AI names. Let's see. It looks like it moved down here right at its VWAP. It can't get above it. We want to see that get above its VWAP. That would be ideal.
It's crazy how much BBAI and SoundHound look similar.
Sideshow, really good job. 6 for 6 here today. That's good on any day in my book. Really good stuff there.
Do you see that? Look at SoundHound and BBAI. They're almost the exact same chart.
Yeah, indeed. Oh my God. Yeah, they are. SoundHound, by the way, rejected at its VWAP right there. Reddit, we're getting the message here on the screen. Reddit shares are trading higher after Wells Fargo initiated on the stock with an overweight rating and a 206 price target. My goodness. Needham and Baird raised their price targets on the stock. Reddit here, 165, stock up 6.2%. Man.
Website gets so many eyes.
Yeah, I mean, was offside on that one, 13.
Well, look, we talked a lot about this one, and some of us made the case that this is actually a company that could see really good movement, but this is way more than I thought it could happen with this one. Way more. I think this is ridiculous, but I think I was on the side of the conversation was that it does have revenue. A lot of people visit the website. It does have get a lot of advertisers, so it could be good. Just didn't expect it to be this good.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
It's kind of cycling through here, looking to see if there's anything that catches my eye. So far, not seeing anything that has a good setup that I'm interested in at the moment. Market Sniper mentioning LDCT is curling. What is LDCT? I don't seem to think I have anything on that.
LDTC letter tech.
Okay, so it's a type. Okay, gotcha. LDTC. Yeah. Okay.
LDTC here. This actually bouncing off its VWAP pretty good.
Yeah, that one kind of bull flagged. You just don't see the candle because this is on a daily chart. So that all happened in pre-market.
Bitcoin continuing to grind higher here. Tesla bouncing nicely.
As far as LDTC goes, look at what the consolidation from earlier this year between June and April. That's a big area to get through there. It's currently getting rejected at about that level too. If it pushes through there, the next resistance starts at about 360, 355, 360.
You guys were mentioning that the crude oil inventory is coming up at 10:30 here. Crude sitting at plus 1.5% ahead of those inventories.
Summit moving slow though. Serb still trying to turn around and recapture VWAP. Not succeeding so far, but there's still plenty of time left for it to keep trying. AMPG, ever since popping above, well, at least my VWAP, it's been able to hold above it despite trading beneath it frequently. If we can continue to close above it, that would be good for another upside move. I think there's a lot of support at 167 as well. Well, not a bad morning, but it seems like we're starting to see the volume thin out in a lot of these names. Well, you know, Lionel, unless you had a killer morning, and we can't be in everything, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of other opportunities.
My typing skills are terrible. Trying to do multiple things at one time always hurts. All right.
So, Crow, is you saying just kind of short oil regardless, since we've seen from the last time that Trump was in office that oil didn't do well, or is there something else that we're looking at here? Take care, Lion.
Have a good one, Lion. Bitcoin 100K. This call there by Glenn. We saw that one coming. How's Mara doing, by the way? I know we took a look at MicroStrategy here. Let's take a look at Mara. Okay, Mara is higher here. Basically erasing yesterday's move down. Well, we might have a head and shoulders forming here on Mara. I'm actually going to preemptively draw that on the daily and see if we end up getting it like we did on MicroStrategy. See if it fills in there.
That would have to come down some more for it to actually give us a good pattern. Like we would need to see it come, like probably at the very least come back down to 20, but 18 would be better before it bounces.
See what Mara gives us. Let's take a look at MicroStrategy here real quick. ONDS curling back up. You love to see it.
Oh, no, we know. Have a great day. Oh, you have a great day. Gotcha.
No, you said you were leaving. Take care. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, look, sometimes reading some of those messages, you screw it up. MicroStrategy here. Love that this is pushing. This was above 400 earlier. I'd love for this to just totally invalidate this head and shoulders. That would be so great.
Keep an eye on AMPG.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see if this actually gets support from VWAP and turns around. And it also needs to see some increased volume, but it's got a halfway decent setup here. I'm not seeing too much, so it's kind of focused on this one for the moment.
Rigetti, kind of a disappointing day here as that continues to pull back here. Pretty much no strength in Rigetti. NBIS pulling back too. That's that recent AI play that we traded. Stitch Fix at the highs here of the day. LAES holding lower. Zone looks like we might attack 2 here. Tell you what, buying the pullback on Zone, this has worked.
The Crow asking about drip. I think if we run here, this is oil and gas 2x bear shares. That's nice. We're holding above the 50-day SMA at the moment. If we do get a run, I see 12 looks like a pretty standout level. Maybe just slightly beneath it at about 1175. That would be my first area of resistance that I can see if we do get a run. There's also a slight gap to fill that was created from the drop between November 5th and 6th. So I think that kind of tells you what the market was thinking when Trump was elected, that we might see weakness in oil. And 5th to 6th, you all know what days that was.
Yeah, it was the election day. Bharat asking you about Google here. Is it good to swing? Who wants to tell him, folks?
What? Oh, yeah, maybe not now. The move has kind of already happened. I still think that Google is going to end up doing really well in the future, but I would wait for a better price for entry.
Yeah, if you were calling for 200 here, so maybe we're 7 points away. I do like that call. I think it probably does go to 200 here. Bharat, the reason I brought that up is we swung this overnight last night into today on the newsprint and on the break of trend. Yeah, Jeremy, yesterday it was a good swing. I mean, hey, if it goes from here to 200, I do feel like you're kind of chasing 2 green candles at this. This thing was up 5.5% yesterday, another almost 4% here today. Maybe it'll back test this trend line and really give you a good entry on that. That'd be sweet.
Sideshow, I don't want to keep taking you away from your work, but when I say keep an eye on something, it's because they got a good setup. We need the volume to start matching this, or else we're going to lose VWAP and go lower. Looks like DXYZ is moving.
Cattle's trying to curl DXYZ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want exposure to SpaceX, this is one of the only ways to do it.
Yep. We're getting a dog in 2025, and we're going to name it VWAP. And if I had an animal named VWAP, it would be very confused, because I say that many times every single day. That would be a one confused animal.
His head keeps perking up. Why do you keep calling it?
Yeah. Treats? Did you say treats again?
Oh, this VWAP is a treat. What?
Tesla here. This has actually been kind of a wild day. Come on, Tesla, load up here. It's kind of a wild day. Nice little bounce off that 404. Reclaim the VWAP, going higher here on Tesla. We'll see if this continues to push. X, this puts. Remember that news here is that deal was nixed. It's blocked. And again, I think both administrations were going to block that. Added to McDonald's right there.
Oh, nice.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Still
Ryan's loving it
about that. Name it smack. Oh God.
Got to mention a DJT. Looks like AMPG might be getting the volume that we were waiting for. A little bit of a push there up to the 178 area. Maybe this is where we get that break over 180 and get some more good price action. Let's wait and see. Bad VWAP.
DJT here sitting between 2 fib levels, sitting between the 0.5, which is 33.36, and the 0.382 level, that's 38.42. DJT just kind of trading sideways here on the daily chart. I don't really see a whole lot in here.
What's nice about DJT is that I have 33.40. That's been a particular level I've been watching for. It's been trading around this, pretty much for the entire quarter. But you have this move over the 200-day SMA, and has continued to hold it for the past week. That's good news. That could indicate that this is trying to go higher if we're holding above that SMA. So let's just keep DJT on our radar. See if we continue to move away to the upside from that 200-day SMA, because that's looking pretty good. We also have the 50 coming up to help support it as well. And here comes the move in AMPG.
Yeah, it sure does. I was literally watching it as you were talking there, right up to this intraday high here. Watch that 188 level AMPG.
There we go. Don't be afraid to start selling into some of these moves, folks. I mean, this could still push higher, but you manage your trade how you're going to do it. But just keep in mind of what we've been saying about how these things don't last as long as they have been lately. And there's the pull. Yeah, but that AMPG, that was the setup. We were just waiting for it, and now look at this. This is exactly why we were saying sell into this. Maybe it gets a rebound. I don't know, but folks, these moves that we keep looking at and setting up, they are not getting the follow through, and we've been saying that all morning. So just please make sure you're protecting yourself if we get these moves that we're looking for.
Okay to trim into those pushes too, especially if you have a really good entry. Any type of pop like that, selling into it, never a bad idea.
Looks like
13 did not say he was going to buy himself some flowers. He's wondering if he's going to get compliments on his call that he made. That was correct.
Yeah. I was kind of joking about that, because in our happy hour chat,
Kind of more like clearly joking.
Oh yeah.
Clear as day.
Well, because it's something that we talk about in happy hour. Whenever somebody makes a really good call, we just give them their flowers and say, thanks for the great call. We made some money off that and all this stuff. So I was talking about 200 in Google yesterday. This crazy move today in this one. So I guess a little narcissism. Just
Tom, yeah, the thing with McDonald's here, I wouldn't say that I'm totally confident in it. It's just one of the plays that I'm in where I'm kind of trying to play, with the market here. You can see exactly what we're doing here. We have an inverse head and shoulders set up. We've done a really good job holding the 50. When we've kind of come back in here, I just added a little bit. I didn't take a huge starter. It's options, so my risk is well defined ahead of the trade. I would say whether or not you should add is solely dependent upon how much risk you want to take on here. I do think that we probably pop, and when we do, we pop into a gap so that it can really start moving. Calls are 3:15, got plenty of time, got till January. December is seasonally pretty good for McDonald's, so we should have the seasonality trend along with the chart formation here. I will say, though, seasonality has not held up yet. Not quite as well this year as it has in the past. So we'll see if that ends up materializing. But basically, I want to see a move through this 50-day here. I want to see it close above it. We had a pretty nice candle yesterday, right up until the end of the day. So I wouldn't say I'm terribly confident in it, but because I have it and because we're right there, I'm actually just dollar cost averaging some of those contracts right there. It really, all that this comes down to is your risk level.
Yeah, Ryan, looking at PPTA, this is the other antimony play. Now you, Amy, and this one are tied together now, since they agreed to collaborate on and cooperate with the production of antimony and other materials, and to help create robust supply chains for the U.S. for the semiconductor industry. So they're both tied together now. I wouldn't at this point say one's better than the other. That might be the case with PPTA, but I think because of how connected they are now, they're both going to trade similarly to each other. AMPG moving up still. That's good news.
Oh, and one more thing for the McDonald's trade: the McRib is back,
and so
I'm wondering if you should see some pop from that sentiment. Okay, AMPG.
Yep, got it. Still held VWAP, and now we're getting
here it goes. Here it goes. Oh, good call. That was timely.
That was let's see, somebody else had pointed out Deborah,
let's go.
Great mention.
I probably should ask you for permission if I can abbreviate it as Deborah, really good call.
218, the pre-market high on this one, and here it gets pulling again. Sell into these moves, folks. They don't seem to be lasting this much. or at least but trade how you're going to trade. You have your own ways of trading. You guys are doing great, so don't let me tell you what to do. But just be careful. These things aren't lasting.
AMPG, pull after that pop. Hopefully you sold into it. Google unveils Gemini 2.0 model. Deirdre Bosa on CNBC talking about this right now. Actually love that shirt. Love the color of that shirt too. Reminds me of wine, Cabernet. Anyway, did Google finally stop, or did that keep going here? No. Okay, that did. Looks like that 195 was the high there.
Yeah. PPTA did run about 30% since you mentioned it. UAMI ran about 10 times that since I mentioned it. They're both good stocks. You did a great job with PPTA.
Netflix at the highs. Netflix continuing to push higher here. Well, this thing has been just an absolute ripper recently.
LAES ripping back up to VWAP, getting some volume here. AMPG still not done. 218 market high. Seems like we're getting some better volume in these names now. Oh my God! Look at DXYZ.
Yeah, Crow was calling for that to be 100 soon.
I took a small amount of that on this movement, or about 5-10 minutes ago. Jeez, that's pretty nice. I just want exposure to SpaceX. Wish there was an easier way to do it instead of this company this fund that I don't know really anything about who manages it. Well, that's fine if PPTA is bigger. We were looking for the bigger move. ONDS trying to get back to $1.
Okay, sorry, just taking care of some other stuff here on the side.
AMPG still up here, having a hard time getting up into that 215 area. Is the chat working on Twitch? Do you know?
Oh, okay. So really good.
AMPG ripping. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me bring it up here. I'm not in this AMPG. I was a little too slow to this. The Phoenix. Good question. I don't think here. I'm going to do a test message here real quick. Yes. So you should see my test message. You should see my chat going to Twitch. Now, are you saying that others' chats are not going to Twitch? That might be something the producers can look into. Let me see here. Twitch.tv.
I don't know that it's going to do it, but AMPG might have be able to move up to 345. We would need this volume to continue, though.
Okay, for the test. So Phoenix, no. So it looks like the rest of our chat not going to Twitch. Interesting. Okay, I appreciate you bringing that up. This might be something new with the new stream setup that we have. Let me give that to the producers here, and I'll try and get that fixed for you. I appreciate you bringing this up. By the way, you can also watch on YouTube and Twitter. You should be able to see the chat there as well. Where can we follow the chat on Benzinga Pro? And I'm not sure what you're asking.
The happy hour chat?
Well, that's the thing. There, if you click on the chat icon in the upper right corner of Pro here, and then you click Open Side Chat, you'll have all of the different rooms that you can. But these are the Benzinga Pro rooms. I don't know if you're talking about the chat on Pro, the chat here for the stream. There's chats. There's chats everywhere. Let me know though. Okay.
MSTR ETF is a good instrument. What's the ETF? I don't know of any specifically in MSTR.
Like MSTX, isn't that one of them? The levered ones, right? MXTX, that's your Defiance 2X long MSTR, and I think MXTZ is your inverse.
Okay.
Trust T-Rex inverse. I'll say this. My gut wants to say no, these are not good. MicroStrategy is already volatile. Now you have a derivative that's levered. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Depends how much risk you want. I guess that's what it boils down to. Really depends how much risk you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy and hold any of these ETFs. I feel like these are more kind of like ones you would trade like you would trade the SQQQ or some of these other
trading vehicles. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely, 13.
So I don't think I would necessarily want to buy and hold these. If you think that you're going to get a big directional move in one way or the other with a MSTR, these would be better to play as long as you're doing it like a day trade. I just wouldn't bother holding any of these. I'd rather hold the underlying instead. Brian Thomas saying he got burned this year on MSTX.
Yeah, and you know what? And Brian, so that's the one for MicroStrategy. Mm-hmm. We know plenty of people that got burned on the Nvidia once when Nvidia was making its huge move. Especially that one that was levered to the upside because Nvidia looked like it would never sell off again. And then when it did sell off, that levered ETF never got back to where it sold off from because it was levered.
Yeah, there was a mention on, let's see here. Somebody mentioned that NVIDIA had news. Izzy. Looks like it came out about, what is this, an hour ago? That artificial intelligence, Sierra Space, that was much earlier this morning. Sierra Space advances space domain awareness with NVIDIA. Is that the news you're referring to, or are you talking about the influence on data center industry redefining operations? I see two headlines here. Look at the chart for NVIDIA. That's looking great to me.
No, it isn't.
I think if we cannot recapture 137, there might be some continued downside in NVIDIA. Matter of fact, that is a really good looking head and shoulders.
Big B's. I like how you put this. Yep, I don't do levered MSTR. It's levered enough.
That's a great point.
That's well said. That is absolutely the case there.
That's a great point. And what he's talking about is how the company's been raising a lot of capital to just buy more Bitcoin. So they're taking on more debt.
Yeah,
they can buy Bitcoin. That's basically levered enough for me. I agree. You're saying an NVIDIA case was on CNBC. Okay, I didn't catch that. So maybe there's. Oh, the case was dropped. Oh, what case was that? Which one was this that you're talking about?
U.S. Supreme Court dismisses case involving securities fraud lawsuit brought by shareholders against NVIDIA. I think that's just one of those ambulance chasing.
Yeah,
I don't know how serious that actually is.
Yeah, because you see a whole bunch of those. Contact this firm if you've experienced losses of so and so more. Yep. In this stocks.
Hey, did we get that Apple breakthrough 250 Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond? Are we doing it? APL.
Couldn't agree more, Robert.
Yes, we did. We broke through it and pulled. What a surprise.
I'm kind of watching LAES right now. It looks like it wants to try and recapture VWAP. Waiting to see if that's what happens. How's some of these other ones? So we were getting a mention on Big Bear. Okay, so that one. So Big Bear, that one's moving back up to 3. So Soundhound should look quite similarly. Actually, it's not. They're finally breaking or diverting away from their similarities. That one's actually losing VWAP, Soundhound. Let's see. ONDS, this one recaptured $1, it looks like.
Sure did, on volume.
CADL down to the 65 EMA. This is trying to turn around now, but not interested in that until it can at least show that it's going to recapture 11. And then let's see, where was that other one we were trading, that AMPG? Where's that come from? Okay, so we pulled back with this one after hitting 241. If you were in this one, and I know Crow, you were taking profit in that big run up to 241. So well done on that. getting some support at about 2. So if we lose 2, then VWAP's going to have to keep it up. Otherwise, this may go lower. She's boot, scoot, and boogie to jail. Who?
He was asking you a question here, how much you made on the Hawk coin.
How much I made? Oh, gosh.
Excuse me. My apologies. 13. How much did you lose on the Hawk coin?
No, I don't touch all that crypto stuff. But I did kind of like follow the fallout on that because, man, it was interesting to see how that all unfolded with CoffeeZilla coming on and basically ripping the entire team, her included, about how they were scamming everybody that was involved with that and making millions off fees. And then she just kind of dips. Oh my God, that was such a big mess. That's how you evaporate all the fame you gained from a single one-liner. That's how you.
Is she gonna have a Talk to a episode about it or what?
Talk to a? I don't know. I really don't.
You better address it at some point. I feel like
I just don't know. I really don't know what she's gonna end up doing with her life. The only thing that was funny to me was her initial bit. Whatever she's doing from now on, it's just like, I don't care.
I love the fact that she's trying to, I mean, this might be cheesy for me. You guys might not even really care about this, but I love the fact that she's trying to spin her 15 minutes into helping animals. But that's just me. I'm a softie for animals. What can I say?
I do. I mean, let's see here. I think I just saw something. Yeah. So basically with her, I don't think that she necessarily masterminded this. She's probably just like more of a fall guy or just like kind of like a pawn in this to get this money made. I don't even think she knew what she was doing, except just promoting something that was going to make her some money. I think she got caught up in this and they took advantage of her. But that's just me. I think she's pretty naive. Okay, so we got
Agree vision. Agree with this one.
The trading platform tells you not to hold ETF for long to be used. Yeah, there are some ETFs that are worth just getting into. Some of the robust index ones. JQUA is one of my favorite. That's an equal weight, or I'm sorry, that's a quality ETF. But there are some that are absolutely what she's saying. They just exist to be trading vehicles. Looks like DXYZ is setting up to go higher. It's setting up to go higher, and it just might do that because somebody was saying $100, right? In that one.
Yeah, Crow was calling for $100 on DXYZ.
All right, look at some of these junkier names. It does. I see somebody who was saying that AMPG was setting up. Who said that? I want to make sure I give you your recognition.
Flowers. Oh, sorry. I thought
no.
There would be pretty good.
I can't see who that was. I was setting up, but it kind of looks like it is. Just need to get that volume to help push back over 118 or 218. Looks like we might be getting it right now. So there's that one, and I'm just kind of watching to see what LES does. I want to see if that ends up pushing up through VWAP. That's all that's interesting to me at the moment.
Okay.
You got anything that you're looking at?
Just kind of watching the unusual option activity here. Tesla's had a wild day. We've been all over the place. Looks like it's trying to rip to some new highs here, really carving out a range. I just added to, had a little pullback here on a longer term small Chinese name that I'm trying to hold, WETH. We just pulled a little bit here, added a little bit on that pullback just to kind of lower my cost basis. I am still watching McDonald's. That ad was money here today. Added pretty much right here at the lows, just under $2.99. Looks like we're about to try and take 300 out here on McDonald's. Other than that, not really. I was looking at Stitch Fix. Cattle's trying to turn around here, but I don't trust it. It's about it.
DoorDash has a block trade, and then also you're freaking Buffalo bicycle out here with those chimes. Maybe bringing that in.
So I probably have to talk to the producer here. Here's the deal. It's got to be something with the audio channels in the mixer, because like my microphone that I have selected here is chat. No, chat mic for my mixer. Yeah. You should not be getting sounds through that. I don't understand. I don't know why you're getting, the only sounds you should be getting are the soundboard sounds. Like these are working, right?
Day and night.
Yes.
Okay, so you're getting that. I don't know why you're getting the system sounds. Let me check the mixer settings here. Maybe I misclicked something.
So we are just waiting for DXYZ to take the next leg up. I also see that Tesla is approaching its all-time high of 414.50. So we are about close to $2.50 away from that. A couple of things getting set up there. Okay, so Ashley is looking at that level as well, or right around there. How are some of these other names doing? So it looks like Serve resolved lower. LES doesn't look like that break or that move to VWAP and higher is happening at the moment. Getting some support though, but let's see if it can hold $1.
You guys can still hear me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so I'm adjusting some stuff here in my routing, and that's so. This is interesting because so Buffalo. Sorry about that. I did like I was mentioning. I did fill a little bit of WETH there. That's what the sound was. Now this is why you were getting. This is why you were getting the opening bell. Did you get that, Sideshow? Did you hear that opening bell today? I feel like you said no. Yeah, I'm really surprised. Something's not.
I heard it. Crow's shorting the Canadian dollar over the tariff news.
Yeah, broadcast. No, this is correct. This should be correct.
Still strong. What's the price of that now? It's 100,500. Here comes DXYZ, about to get this new intraday high here. Current one is 71.44.
Let me bring that up here.
All right. Ooh.
All right, real quick, just kind of running the game plan down here. We do have story trading coming up here at 11. That's in 9 minutes. I'm going to send you over there. I'll hand it off to Ben for you. And then at 11:30, we have Futures Fever. Futures Fever coming up. So got some more content for you here today.
AMPG is trying to do that next move up. Currently having a bit of a time getting over the 218 pre-market high again. Still don't have any closes above that level either. Even that big move that we had about 15 minutes ago up to 241 didn't get a close above that level. So big resistance in the 218 to 220 area. Sellers step in every time it gets up there. So waiting for LES to do something.
Ryan, what time is nap time? Don't have naps during the week, Wisdom. I don't have the luxury of doing a wake and bake. So we don't do naps on the regular day there, Wisdom. No naps. All work all day.
There has been a pretty good line in the sand for Summit at 1850. If that continues to hold up, there could be some more. There could be a recapture of VWAP. 1850, pretty strong line in the sand this morning out of the in the regular session.
Izzy, my cost basis on ONDS is like $3, so I'm way underwater on that.
AMPG slowly pushing up into the 220 area.
This sure looks like it's going to take that high out and go higher here.
I want to believe that, and it could. It's just, man, every time it gets to 120, it cannot close a 5-minute candle above it. It just has not been able to so far. So maybe this is the first one that it does. We have about 1:45 left.
Let's look around here and see. What do we see?
That's what I'm doing.
Let's check in on a couple of charts here real quick. Let's check in on Oracle, which reported earnings here this morning. It's not really coming back yet. It's trying to hold in there, though. Carvana, how's that doing? Do we have any Carvana traders here in this group? Can't remember. Stock is just absolutely. Look at this. Look at this.
So what's Root doing?
Actually, it's a good question there. 13.
Oh, mentioning the AMPG. Okay.
Here it goes. All I had to do was take it off my screen, folks. That's all I had to do.
250. So got less than a minute left in this candle. We might get our first close above 220. And still have that 345 potential, crazy move, price. Continue with this with the upside volume. 345 would be where I would be looking for it to go before it finds resistance. Okay, looks like we are about to get our first close above 220 here in AMPG. Nice, good calls, guys. Good calls.
Yeah, you folks really did a great job here today. Lots of stuff. Smash up that like for our group here.
Yeah. Well, DXYZ not able to take out that 71.44 high. Might have double topped. Not sure yet.
CMG. Look, Crow, you know me, man. I do love a good Chipotle burrito.
That reminds me, how's Kava doing today? Looks like it finally found some support.
By the way, we were doing a lot of talk on Chipotle when this was really pulling back after that split. We did some talking here about whether or not the 200 would be a good area. That is proven to hold here. That has proven to hold up here. So Chipotle adding this around the 200-day has worked. That's for a longer-term swing or investment. Chipotle looks like we might take out some of those all-time highs pretty soon.
That movement this morning in Kava, that's pretty interesting. We came back up to 130, tried to recapture it, rejected, went lower, and now we're going sideways at around 128.
I almost wonder if you have more downside here on Kava if you lose this 126 level.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. I think there's some more downside coming. This thing is crazy extended. There's no way that this company is worth $14.5 billion.
Not even close.
So
not even close. Nice job on this. I think you took this short, didn't you?
Yes.
Nice job.
Yes, I have puts. So looking for it to go lower. I mean, remember our group in happy hour was talking like under 100 with this thing. I see that happening. The time frame on that happening, though, not sure. I mean, could happen quick. We did lose $30 in 2 days, or maybe more like $25 in 2 days. Still, that's a pretty big move. Looking for it to come down, fill the gap to 104.80, maybe even head down lower to that to the 200-day SMA, which is just under 100. That looks like that could be one of the better spots of resistance to where you might get a reversal. But
yeah, let me tell you, those puts would be paying if you end up getting that. Paying. Yep. What's the expiry on
that? Those are for January 25th.
Oh, yeah.
Daniel's asking about...
That's a really good trade, 13.
Thank you. Daniel's asking about MGX. This is Metagenomi. Oh, okay. What is this about? This is a biotech. They got a price target raise on December 10th. That was yesterday. And they had preclinical results for hemophilia A gene therapy. That was on Monday. So that's basically what all this price action was lately. Went up to the 200, almost to the 200-day SMA. And I guess you're just wondering what's next for the stock. Let me take a look here. I don't know anything about this company really. I think we may have even looked at this and traded it on Monday. Does that ring a bell, Ryan? Did we do that?
Yeah, I think so, because that had that huge move on Monday. Yeah, this would have been on the relative volume scanner all day long.
Okay, so no short interest of real interest there. Don't see any splits that they've done or reverse splits. Okay, so this one has about 275 million in cash and liquid investments, which is plenty of cash for them to keep at the burn rate they're going. So I don't know what anything more than we have here in the newsfeed and what I've just mentioned, but maybe looking into how far along they are in their pipeline with this gene therapy would be give you a good idea of where this might end up going. And you also have that HC Wainwright and Company price target at 14. That's really all I've got on this. I couldn't give you anything more. I just don't know without maybe digging a little bit deeper. But definitely go to the company's website, take a look at their pipeline. That should give you some ideas about how soon you might get another move. That's
okay.
Where I would go.
Real quick here, just a little piece of note. Trump is going to ring the bell at the for the market tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, DJT. That's the play.
There you go.
That's the play. That has to be the play.
That did not take long for you to do that. Okay, 13. Yeah. DJT, closing thoughts here. We're going to move over to story trading here in a sec.
Well, it's been a fun day, folks, but as you saw from the volume, it isn't sustainable. So, don't get yourself caught in these things. Exercise some good trading discipline. Maybe sit on your hands like some folks are, because this market doesn't have the follow through that we've been seeing. So protect yourself, take care of yourself, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you very much, 13. Really, really good stuff here today. 13's departure means it is time to go over to story trading. We're going to bring on Ben and the guys. Ben, good morning, dude. How are you doing? How's your Wednesday?
I'm doing okay. Market's been crazy. I'm in this DJT trade from before. So was that just breaking? I got
Yes.
Get myself more DJT.
Yes, sir. We just got word that he's gonna ring the bell for the open.
I'm showing that DJT on my chart right now. I just gotta free up some cash to be able to do this trade over here. But yeah, DJT's been on our radar since there's been some smoke around crypto and BKKT that they're trying to buy. Mm-hmm. So I've been playing that, and he's ringing the bell tomorrow.
He's ringing the bell tomorrow morning.
All right. Let me see. All right, great. All right, picked up a little bit more. Okay, awesome. Where's our team there? Godfather, Ryan, how you doing?
Morning.
Good. Ryan, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Oh, okay. No, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a pretty awesome day here with the CPI. Market really went straight up from that, and we've had some pretty good wins. So we're trading a lot of the smaller names here. Really crushed Google from yesterday with that quantum computing, quantum chip news. So
nice.
Been a really awesome week here.
That's great. It's been a little bit rougher for me. I got to be honest with you. It seems like, especially small caps, a lot of catalysts are being sold off. Even earnings, even larger, a lot of gap and fades. A lot of catalysts not following through. So it's been a little bit challenging for me. But Tesla has been the big winner for us since the election. This has been my top holding, my largest holding since the election. On the day after the election, I put a video out forecasting all-time new highs before or proximal to Inauguration Day. It's happened a little bit sooner. So this has worked out. Tesla, really nice. Did we hit the new all-time high? $1 away. It got rejected $1 away, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, it sure is. Huge range here on Tesla as well here today. So, okay, awesome. Take it away, guys.
All right, great. Thank you, Ryan. So, this morning, here we go. Tesla, Bitcoin resurging. That's looking beautiful. I got to be honest with you. I'm not trading that much right now. The last bunch of days have been a little difficult for me. So I'm establishing some swing positions, but I'm trying to do some less active day trading. We'll just hit some highlights from the show this morning of stuff that I thought could do well today, but I didn't play it. GameStop, $29.50 this morning on the show. I suggested we could see $32 because they had surprise profit there. That's nice to see, and definitely a very good catalyst. $5 billion cash with Bitcoin pumping right now. That also may be playing into it. Just hit another new high of the day right now on GameStop. So I'm feeling a little FOMO that I didn't play it, but yeah, I'm just taking things a little bit easy with the tape here. But $32, that's my target on GameStop. Let's see if it can get there. I got a candle up here at 30.87 first. Mara, we'll talk about that with the Godfather in just a second. Has been all over that. A couple microcap earnings that I noted last night that looked pretty good. Mind is one of them. It's a $45 million market cap, though, up 32%. Back of the napkin math. This deserves some research. Maybe we'll talk about that later if you haven't looked at it already. But this could potentially go to like $7 to $9. But again, I'm being very hesitant, man, because things have not been working out on some other plays, microcaps that I thought should do well after earnings. Another great earnings one, FEIM. Great earnings last night as well, up 32%, something worth looking into. But this one was a real winner for us. BYRN was a top pick yesterday. Byrna Technologies, they pre-announced earnings. They're beating revenue pretty substantially on their guidance. And I doubled my position in my long-term account yesterday. Took it for a small scalp yesterday. Should have held it in my trading account, but I got it in my long-term account, doubled that position. I think this is probably headed to new all-time highs over $30. Maybe in the next month or so, or sooner, the way things are going.
Can I talk about that for a sec on
Sure,
valuation and so on?
Yeah.
So I put out a tweet yesterday just showing the clip from our Discord where I recommended that folks put it in a long-term account. We were buying it just under 14, just over 14. My ACB is 14.75 in this thing. Look, even with the move that we've seen post this pre-announcement of the Q4, we're trading around 3.5 times EV to sales. This is a company that very soon will be valued on EV/EBITDA because in the most recent quarter they inflected to operating cash flow positive. Put this into perspective, though. Axon Technologies, which was acquired the Taser or grew out of Taser, is trading around 25 times enterprise value to sales. They're a logical buyer of this company. They could pay a massive premium and still be accretive for them. But here's the kicker. So this preliminary Q4 was released at 28 million. Consensus was for 27. They said 2024 revenue are going to come in at 86 million. Consensus were somewhere around 83 to 84. That's not big, but if you take that 28 million and you annualize it and assume no growth, you're already in excess of where the 2025 consensus estimates sit. That's at 110 million. That's low, way low. I've been sitting at around 150, 160. There were supply constraints previously. The other big piece of the press release here is that they announced that the Fort Wayne, Indiana plant produced 55,000 of these things in the most recent quarter. It looks like they've solved that. They did 2.4 million in Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales. Just to put that in perspective, in 2019, the entire sales of the company for the entire year was less than $1 million. So none of that sales comes into this quarter. So if you factor in all of those things, and the other thing that I think isn't really appreciated by the market, and certainly it isn't in the numbers for the estimates as they are now, is this compact launcher that's going to be probably, in my opinion, their biggest selling product. So, 3.5 times EV to sales for a company that's growing. I would argue next year they're going to grow somewhere between 75 and 85%. It was the most recent quarter saw almost 63% gross margins. I think a 20% EBITDA run rate exit 2025 is probably even conservative, and at that rate you're at 17 times EV to EBITDA. So look, at $25, you should have been in our Discord and added to your long-term account at 15. But $25 it can still be bought. I think fair value for this.
So it looks like right. It looks like you're in agreement with me that technically we could be challenging that all-time high at $30.
Yeah, look, technicals mean nothing when you get into blue sky. You have to look at the fundamentals and where it predicts that this thing should be and could be on a fair value basis. And like I said, I can see $35 to $40, and there's probably no and nothing on the chart up at
Oh
those
wow!
levels.
So you're thinking based on the fundamentals, we even deserve to break that all-time high of $30. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
Actually, the all-time highs are there at 40. I'm sorry. Wow, this has been trading forever since
Look, there are plenty of growth
2007.
stocks trading at less than, or plenty of growth stocks with growth of less than 50% that are trading at, 10 times EV to sales. Look at some of these.
Well, guess what?
Drone stocks,
as you're talking there, I just added more to my long-term position. I really wish I kept it in my trade account yesterday, just scalped it, but it's okay. Now I got an even bigger position in my long-term account. Thank you for that. All right, so that's BYRN. So yeah, where we've been getting, we made a killing on, but we've had big pullbacks on is this whole drone sector. We are on this whole ride, thanks to the Godfather, from like 2 to 12, but a big pullback to 740 now on RCAT. We were on this whole ride on UMAC from like 5 or 6 to 20, and a lot of us sold up there 18 to 20. But alas, I got back in too early on the pullback. And, all of these stocks, MOB also, well, no, really PDYN, I would say, big pullback on PDYN to the 20 DMA. So this has been challenging, a little bit frustrating. I kind of went out on a limb and called the bottom yesterday. And so far, I mean, not yet. 20 DMA, we have earnings coming up on RCAT. Look, by the way, also, I think if you're going to play the drone stocks at this point, I want to hear what you say, Godfather. But last night in the Discord, I said RCAT now is the way to play it because it's pulled back. This is what started it all. This is the highest quality one, 558 million market cap, 400 million at least deal with the SRR. Big pullback to the 20 DMA. Yeah, these other ones could explode percentage-wise more if the drone sector gets going, PDYN or UMAC. But RCAT's probably the best risk reward here at 20 with earnings Monday afternoon. I'll stop there. What do you think?
Yeah, well, look, as you know, I'm a fundamental guy, so it all comes back to the numbers. And, we saw a great burst of enthusiasm in all of these small drone names as a result of this program record win by RCAT, as a result of comments by Vivek and Elon about changes that we're likely to see in the DoD when it comes to procurement priorities, favoring smaller drones versus large capex purchases like the F-35s and so on. So a lot of money, a lot of hot money came into this group, and it pushed all of these names to new highs, including RCAT. Valuations across the group got into double digits. Some of them, upwards of 20 times EV to sales, which are not sustainable unless you can back it up with numbers over time. RCAT is now at 740, back down to around 6 times EV to sales, which is where the big daddy with no growth in the sector AV sits. So I think that's kind of a floor valuation for this name. The 260 odd million SRR T2 contract that they won, brings this year's revenues up to, let's call it 100 million. That seems to be the number everybody's using. That's where I'm getting that 6 times number. But there's talk that will grow, both in terms of parts and maintenance, but also in terms of volumes. And I'm not sure that that's factored in at 740. The other part that's certainly not factored in at 740 are follow-on wins from NATO and other countries, because look, their drones there's only 2 drones in this category that are Blue UAS certified that are in mass production. And these guys now have 2 key product offerings with the FlightWave acquisition, the Teal 2, and then the FlightWave, I believe it's called the 130. So I think you go back to RCAT at this point. The earnings, look, this coming earnings is just going to show the legacy business. You're not going to see any of the SRR, but they will, I'm sure, talk about the future. The important thing here is that with the 2 debt bridges that they did with Lind and the money that they're going to get upfront in terms of growth capital to get this production contract underway, they are fully funded. So there's no near-term dilution, despite the S1s that are out there, S3s that are out there. So I think the technicals and the fundamentals look to be aligned here at around this 750 level.
Yep, I added common shares and call options into Monday afternoon. Tesla's, we're watching Tesla trying to break that all-time new high, just pennies away.
The other thing is we're likely to see some strategic partnerships here, and I think that's been hinted. It was certainly hinted by Jeff in your interview with him, right? They're already working with TDY, Athena AI, and others. But additional technology, the likes of Palantir's AI, are being added to these machines in field. And he said, stay tuned for some partnerships that will knock your socks off. So we know that there's some things in the works.
Yeah, we interviewed the CEO of RCAT and UMAC, so you can check those out on our. Right, where can they find those interviews?
So they can find them right on our YouTube at Story Trading. Just look up Story Trading and then click on our YouTube channel, and they'll be able to see them right there.
Yeah, the thing crazy is we interviewed the CEO of RCAT the day before. Hold on, where's my list? The day before UMAC did this, right? Exploded over here. It was this day right here. The interview was in November 26th, so we had some insights into that, and we were in this, and then boom, thing like doubled the next day. That was fun. All right, so other thing I have to point out, which has been disappointing for me, but I'm not giving up on it, is MOB, another drone stock. I just cannot let go of this one. I'm stuck on it because the valuation is like very rarely do you come across a 15 million market cap with a pristine balance sheet with what looks like rapid top line growth right now in the drone industry. This is trading probably, I don't know, what would you say, 1/3 or 1/4 the multiples of the other drone stocks.
Well, it's trading at 1/10 of the multiples that are attributed to some of the private companies well, these are names like Shield AI and so on that are trading in private market valuations or 20 times EV to sales. These guys are at conservatively with no growth, zero growth. I have them doing 4 million in revenue. That gets you 2 times. I think they'll easily do 5, so you're down to 1.6 times EV to sales. Compare that to RCAT and AVAV around the 6 level. Some of the other names that are trading at frothy valuations are well into the double digits. So let's call it, a fifth of the average of the peers at this time. But I think
this chart, and this chart, sorry, I gotta talk a little technicals to make it more fun. This chart to me looks exactly like the UMAC chart did before the thing blew up. So all it needs is some sort of catalyst. We're trying to interview the CEO of Mobilecom. I can't find him, but there's interviews out there. You can find them on YouTube. This is a really legit company, awesome, very strong management, awesome C-suite, really great customers, U.S. military, Israeli military. I mean, this is just a no-brainer. This is my largest trade position right now. Hasn't worked out yet, but I cannot give up on this because it is way, way, way too cheap.
$1.40 of the $2.30 share price is net cash.
That's ridiculous.
Has an extremely clean balance sheet. There is no near-term need for cash because the burn rate is low at 550,000 a quarter. Look, here's what's really important and intriguing about this story is they provide a high margin, service or product, which is essentially a software and communication suite that cyber hardens drones. So you're talking about 55 to 60% type gross margins, and consider that some 10,000 drones a month are lost due to cyber attacks, and this is what we're seeing in warfare areas like the Ukraine and so on. So this is an end-to-end system with the telecommunications hardware, the software that sits both on the drone itself as well as in the cloud. They also have an NDAA certified controller that they produce with in joint venture with a Silicon Valley-based company. It's certainly the most ignored, underrated, undervalued of all of the publicly listed.
Yeah, and it's just too much of a gap. I get it. The liquidity might not be there. It's a micro cap. People don't like it for those reasons. I don't care. I got it. I've done this many times, and a lot of the times it works big. When you get into these unknown names and you just wait for a catalyst, and then boom, the thing will be up 200%. I have a feeling that might happen here with MOB. Okay, wow, but RCAT keeps getting hit. I have to say, I keep getting all these alerts coming through my X right now, like "told you so," Tesla. Oh my God, told you. All right, who has the biggest "told you so" ever on all of FinTwit, Rhett?
Ben.
Yeah, I mean that
from
video,
the very beginning.
That video I put out was epic, man. It was November 7th. I put a video out in our Discord. And, when I talk mega caps, you got to take note because I don't like mega caps. All right. I'm mostly small caps. And when I start getting interested in some large cap or mega cap, I'm usually like spot on. And I put out a note on November 7th on Discord. I'm like, just a private video. And we put part of it. We took parts of it, we put it out on X. But I was like, this is the time to make big money trading call options in Tesla. You can buy the dips from here on out in Tesla because it's been a slog, right, for a long time. I remember back in these days, everyone made tons of money, millions and millions of dollars trading Tesla calls. And then for years, it was nothing. I'm like, those days are back, guys. Let's collaborate between now and the election. Let's collaborate. Let's buy the dips. You can buy every dip in Tesla. We're going to make millions of dollars on Tesla. I made that call, made some money, not millions, but I was calling for when this stock it closed, when I put that message out when it was 288. At $288, I made a forecast that we're going to hit 415 in the next couple of months. And here it is right here. Biggest told you so all over, anywhere on FinTwit. And I say, all these guys told you so, told you so. All right, good for you. All right. Rhett, you'll have to give that video some love on after we hit the all-time new high here today.
Yep, start reposting. But it's not only been with Tesla too, Ben. I mean, it's been with Amazon. You've been correct. Apple. Yeah. What was the other big one? SMCI, telling everyone to avoid it and going to TSSI.
Oh, so we called the bottom on SMCI too.
Yep,
that was
so
crazy.
many of them.
All right. Anyway, let's see if there's any big other things we're missing here. I did just add to that DJT with that breaking news that came on right before our show started. That is going to be fun. Trump ringing the opening bell tomorrow. Yeah, pretty much a no-brainer, I think, to add some DJT here to sell into that pop tomorrow. We're hurting on RCAT. That's the way it goes. The event is Monday afternoon, so there's no way you're going to pull me out of that trade idea. Event anticipation into Monday is what I'm betting on. Okay. Let's see what else is here that we haven't talked about. I told you about these two microcaps with the earnings reports that were good last night.
You guys want to talk about Mara?
Oh, yeah. How about you, Godfather? You're the Mara guy. We see Bitcoin surging back over 100,000. Mara up 5%. Go for it.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a proxy on Bitcoin. There are lots of proxies. If you just want to play Bitcoin without having any, corporate risk or dilution that might come from an issuer, et cetera, just buy one of the many ETFs or buy one of the levered ETFs like BITX. That's the one that I play. There are other ways to do it where you can get exposure to high performance compute and also Bitcoin mining, names like Cores, for example. What's unique about Mara at this juncture, I think, is number one, they have the largest short position of all of the big cap miners. They are the largest global miner. But what's more important is that they've really adopted, the Michael Saylor Bitcoin Treasury strategy. And they successfully issued 2 really cheap converts. You're going to see them continue to do it because they're able, just like MicroStrategy, to accretively add Bitcoin per share to their balance sheet. They're able to do it at a rate that's probably more economic than even their mining of Bitcoin. So it becomes a proxy, but it becomes a more levered proxy. And that's the reason people own MicroStrategy. And I think you're going to see more people looking at Mara. At close to, I think it's around 40,000 Bitcoin now. Mara has the second largest Bitcoin treasury of a listed company. Mining is a terrible business at the end of the day. High performance compute is a much better business, but it's hard to find a business that's getting rewarded more and creates more immediate value creation than the sort of financial engineering business that's afforded to names like MicroStrategy. The Bitcoin yield that you can do by getting off these cheap financings and buying Bitcoin and adding it to your balance sheet in a creative manner is, it's a situation that's probably not going to last forever, but it's there now and it's there today. And there's a limited number of companies that are able to do this. And
does this mean, Godfather, I want to see if I'm seeing something technically on the chart, and I want to know if it jives with the fundamentals. Mara challenged $30. This was the first weekend. It was about to hit 100,000. So people wanted to get into Mara and these crypto plays before that weekend. and then it failed that weekend. It subsequently the next week broke 100,000. But the fact that this was, up at 2750 and surged towards 30 that day before it hit 100, but now we're over 100 and we're here at 24. Is there anything to read into that fundamentally, that it's cheaper here, fundamentally, than it was back on November 29th?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just a matter of digesting at these price levels. There's going to come a break, and when that comes, it's going to get chased. And I think these are levels that, where we're at today, these are levels that we won't again see in this name.
All right. Sounds good as we wait for another dollar here on Tesla. That's going to make news all over the place. So that's exciting. All right. You don't have any Tesla, do you, Godfather?
No, it's not a name that I've historically traded successfully. You've been the box on this. You've called it amazing. I should have just allocated a portion of my trade account to you.
Long term. Forget about trading.
Nothing but Tesla.
Look, I have to tell you, I've been double and tripling down on this. I think we're at a 1.3 trillion valuation. I think it's going to be a 3-4 trillion. I think it's going to be like what's Apple's at like 3-4 trillion now, something like that. I think Tesla's going to make it. Give it a few years. You can't bet against Elon Musk. He has the largest private company in the world now in SpaceX, and now he has Tesla. And this stuff you cannot bet against them. I think the price of Tesla has to include a high likelihood that whatever is saying about robotaxi will come true. A high likelihood that whatever is saying about FSD will come true. It's just a matter of is it 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now? And what about Optimus? You got I don't know, maybe not a 20% chance, 30% chance what is saying of Optimus comes true. And if you model all that out and you factor in these percentage chances that'll happen, I think you're probably going to come up with a 3, 4, maybe even $5 trillion valuation in Tesla. I have to tell you, I think folks who invest in Tesla now, when you look back 5-10 years from now at the stock price, it's going to look like this was a microcap stock. That's what it's going to look like. It's early. That's what I say. All right. So that's my pitch for you, Godfather, to get some Tesla into your long-term account. All right. What else do we got here? We got 5 minutes left. And
can we talk about NBIS for a second?
Yeah, NVIS it is, right?
Yes.
This was the one that Citron said to go long on. Is that how it all started?
Yeah, NBIS. So this is the old Yandex that came back trading in mid-October.
Right,
they sold their Russian assets, and what they're left with is what's arguably the most efficient data center on the planet in Finland. But here's the real story. So you've seen massive investments by Jensen in names like CoreWeave. You just saw a massive investment with Reliance to build a 1,000 megawatt data center in India. You saw NVIDIA invest $700 million into NBIS, and you wonder what's going on. Well, despite selling chips at 75% gross margin, NVIDIA wants to diversify its client base away from the big data center players, and it wants to capture more of the downstream economics itself. So it's doing these joint ventures in these AI data centers with the likes of CoreWeave, with the likes of NBIS, with the likes of Reliance, and so on. So what does that mean? It means that these names get priority access to the Blackwell. They get priority access to the 200. This name, it's not that well covered. Every bulge bracket firm will start covering this name in the new year. Right now, the valuation is at a discount to Core's, CORZ. Just to trade at the Core's valuation, it should trade at 37.50, and that's on an EV to sales basis. Now, what's more important, or should not be overlooked, is the fact that it's more than just an AI data center play. They have an autonomous driving unit. 350 million has been spent on this thing. It's real. They just beat out Waymo and Google for an Uber contract, an Uber Eats contract. What is this thing worth? It's tough to say, but Waymo just raised $5.5 billion at a valuation that's rumored to be somewhere closing in on $50 billion. So even if you think it's worth $1 or $2 billion, it's $5 to $10 a share, additional to the $37.50 that I just mentioned. Then there's a group of other businesses that include a 30% share in a MongoDB-like database business that Altimeter and Coatue led a financing, valuing it at $2.1 billion back in 2021. There's an ed tech company that's doing 50 million in ARR. There's another AI consulting company. There's probably another $1 to $2 there. So again, giving no value for any of those things whatsoever, I see 37.50 to 40. Adding in those other things, I get to a valuation that's north of 50. Here's the real kicker, though. You've got CoreWeave doing an IPO in early 2025. The current private market valuation of this thing is 10 times EV to sales. So when that comes public, it's going to be one of the hottest IPOs of the year. It's going to drag up multiples for this entire group. And arguably, just the multiple on the AI data center, forget about all the other businesses I mentioned, could double from where we are today. That would put the stock in the $70 range.
What's the timeline for them going public, CoreWeave?
They haven't said for sure, but early 2025 is what's been talked about. The current valuation, by the way, is $23 billion. That's based on the last money in, which I think came from Meta. They are targeting a $35 billion IPO price. So, you're talking about a valuation well in excess of 10 times EV to sales. So if that becomes a reality, the market buys that.
That'll light a fire under all these other names for sure.
Even more, the thing that's incredible about this business is that CapEx and revenue is completely correlated in so much as that they can't sell as much. They can sell all of the AI data, HPC compute capacity that they can stand up. So every time they raise more money, they raise their revenue forecast. And you just saw that with the 700 million that they got from NVIDIA, the priority that they're getting for the H200 and the Blackwell chips. They raised their revenue forecast, their ARR forecast exit 2025 to over $1 billion, and their 2025 revenue forecast to 450 to 600 million. That is going to get raised several more times throughout the course of 2025, in my opinion, as they raise additional capital. And
I just got a last word before we go off here. That came into our Discord, that catalyst alert. We jumped all over it because of Citron coming in. That's a catalyst I always like when Citron goes long. So that was a quick, very positive trade for us. But then you took it the next step. You did the fundamental research, and you're able to swing it for several more dollars so far. So really nice teamwork. There's something for everyone in our community, both the quick trades on those catalysts and then doing the homework on the fundamentals for longer term trades. All right.
Love it.
Our time is up.
How was it?
It was beautiful.
I actually really like NBIS. I'm glad I joined here at the end. I had a great trade on that right after the IPO from 17 to 24. I missed that big move into the 30 handle, but we'll have some time to reload that. So, okay.
There's still a double in it. You got time.
Yeah, that's right. Really, really good stuff, folks.
All right. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
All right. Sounds good. Take care, Ben, Godfather, and Rhett. Have a good one. That leaves room for Kevin from Futures Fever. Let's bring Kevin on. Kevin, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good, man. Good Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. How are you?
I'm doing good. Look, that CPI print we got really kind of popped the S&P this morning. What are you seeing out there?
Oh, beautiful. I mean, I know I myself caught a nice piece of gold this morning from about 8:30 to 9:30. It had a nice little rally. After that, it pulled back for a bit. Then it did soar, made some crazy moves past its ADR, which is exceptional, right? If we're looking for trends, we look for something like that. Other than that, the ES has been in a little bit of a tough spot. ES as in the SPY as well. But, CPI, whenever we get some type of news catalyst, PPI, CPI, these are events that could really make or break the market. So I'm hoping to see some continuation after today.
Okay, well, CPI was this morning. We'll see what the PPI brings tomorrow. Take it away, Kevin.
Thank you. Take care. All right. So hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Futures Fever. I'm your host, Kevin Dubrisky. And as always, we're going to cover a brief of what is Apex Trader Funding. We'll cover some slides of information, and then we'll do some technical analysis and use some tools that can help you pass your evaluation account. Then we'll wrap it up with some Q&A as well. So I hope you're ready because Futures Fever starts right now. So Apex Trader Funding. What is Apex Trader Funding? Apex Trader Funding is a prop firm specializing in providing funding opportunities to committed traders around the world. So if you're watching this and you're not from the US, you're not left out. You get the opportunity to trade futures as well. This does include micro contracts too. The reason I include this is because some other prop firms in the prop space, they don't really match the amount of micros to minis. So if you're trading an Apex account that offers you 4 minis, you're also able to trade up to 40 micros because 10 micros equals 1 mini. A key feature of Apex Trader is its streamlined one-step evaluation. Again, other prop firms might have a 2-step evaluation. You have to prove yourself over time. Apex Trader keeps it nice and simple for us. A key feature, let's see, this process does simplify the assessment for us traders. It invites us to show off our trading skills, but they also want to see consistency too. They do not want to see any type of gambling or FOMO or heavy leveraged trades. Now, how does it work, right? It's sort of about a 4-step process, or really a 2-step, the evaluation and then funded. But let's really break it down so we understand everything. The evaluation phase is designed to assess your trading skills and consistency. This ensures Apex that you are a consistent and disciplined trader. They don't want to be funding a trader that passed their evaluation off of one huge trade and then pay them out because they do the same thing, because that's not disciplined. That can lead to a lot of issues going forward, and that is not following a set of rules. As traders, we always have to follow our rules, whether we trade futures, stocks, or options. As for fees with Apex Trader, they do very often have sales, 75%, 70%, sometimes even 90% off. If you use discount code FEVER, you get their best recurring sale. Right now, because they aren't running any sales, you do still get 70% off the evaluation price. The program, so for goals and stops, the program sets clear profit targets and clear profit targets to aim for and a trailing stop to follow as well. These parameters are designed to encourage disciplined traders and reduce emotional decision making. Guys, that's huge. When we're trading, when we're in the market, you can't tell me that emotion doesn't play in, FOMO doesn't play in. All of our bad decisions that we take in trading, it's because of emotions, and emotions tie into a lot of faults. That's why when we're traders, when we're trading, we really have to create our system and stick to it. Getting funded. So once you pass the evaluation, you gain access to a funded trading account. Again, they're giving you a funded account while you're only putting about $200 to $300 worth of your own capital, right? So you pay for the evaluation phase with $50,000 account with 80% off. It's about $30 to $40. You pay the one-time lifetime fee, which ranges anywhere from $85 to $160 for the 50K account. If it's on sale, it's $85. If it's not on sale, it's $160. So for $200, you get the opportunity to trade their capital and get a payout, which is huge, guys. Huge risk to reward on that. You're risking $200 of your own capital to take a payout of $2,000 and then some. What's great with Apex too is they do offer copy accounts. So once you feel you've gotten consistent with one, you could then buy 2 more, 3 more, up to 20 total accounts. So a quick overview on Apex Trader, account sizes vary from 25,000 to 300,000. The account prices range from 147 to 657. Now this is without sale price. Now a lot of times people see these high prices, they get a little worried, they start to second guess it. Apex Trader funding always runs a sale price even if their website does not display it. As long as you punch in a sale code like Bullish Bears or Fever, like Futures Fever, you will get that discount code. Profit split is 90-10. A lot of other firms are 80-20. Profit target is 6% on every account except for the $300,000 account. The $300,000 account, 6% would be an $18,000 profit, but the profit target is $20,000. The max drawdown is also 2.5 to 6% as well. So it really varies on which account you're trading with. And there is no daily loss. A lot of other firms do have a daily stop limit. Some benefits of Apex Trader funding, and then we'll break it down into some charts. We'll cover the S&P 500 futures, the NASDAQ, gold, crude, and more. And we could even get into some Q&A and some tools that could help give you guys an edge in the market. So benefits of Apex Trader, there are a wide range of account sizes. Simple rules, no daily drawdown, competitive profit split. The 90-10 is better than the 80-20. Plus, you keep 100% of the first 20,000 you make with them. So huge, really great stuff. Apex is phenomenal. Multiple accounts and trade copier software. If you're used to only risking $100 on a trade, but you're profiting 400 with a great risk to reward. But once you start going higher in your risk, emotions play in. You could stay at that $100 risk, but then copy it across multiple accounts. So if you're only making 400 a day, but you're on 10 accounts, you're really making 4,000 that day. Up-to-date trading platforms, they do offer quite the amount. What's going on, everybody? Don't forget, leave a like, leave a comment if you do like what's going on here, what we're covering. And they do have great customer service at Apex Trader Funding. They have a 4.5 stars out of 11,000 reviews. I believe this was on Trustpilot. All right. So now that we are done with the slides, let's go into some charts. So the first thing I want to cover this morning is gold. Now, I mentioned briefly before when Ryan was on that gold gave us a nice move this morning from about 8:30 to 9, and then we had a pullback, and then we ended up having a strong move afterwards. Now, this morning I ended up catching what looks to be a small move afterwards, but we have to remember when the market is live, we don't know what goes on afterwards. To the right, we only have the information to the left. So once we came into this area of interest, I saw on the 15-minute time frame that we were starting to move higher. We had a strong rejection of this low right here, and I'm going to mark that out. Let's even go to a different contract so we could start completely fresh for you guys. We'll go to the December contracts. Nope, we're going to go to the probably February contracts, whichever contract has the most volume. Let's do, going to be February. So GCG 2025, that is the February contracts for gold. Apex Trading, can we trade stocks? It is futures only. Apex Trader Funding is a futures only prop firm. Right now, there aren't too many stock prop firms out there, so I would definitely be careful if you're looking for one. So something I saw on gold was that we were moving higher and higher, right? So over the past few days, we would continuously break the previous day high once, twice, 3 times. So pretty obvious that on the daily we're trending. So my bias right away was we're going to be looking for longs, we're looking for bulls, we're looking for buyers. This is something that you can do on any chart. If you're looking at crude, you're looking at gold. Marking out previous day high and previous day low will really give you the advantage of looking at previous day's price action and finding a common trend. Now, another way you could find trends in the market is using this Edgeful platform, which sort of gives us the statistics ourselves. Can you start by scanning the QR code at top? I believe so, yeah. If you guys want to try that QR code up there, that should also take you to Apex Trader Funding to get started. Don't forget, use discount code FEVER so you get at least 70% off, even though there's no sale running. So with Edgeful, what I could do is I could come over to report type, and I'm going to keep it as price action. Now, they offer a ton of different reports to check up on: fair value gaps, gap fill, opening range breakout. But what I'm interested in right now is the previous day's range, right? Because we're looking for previous day high and previous day low. I'm also looking at gold, so we're going to pull up the ticker GC. Now, this platform does give you the option to look at stocks, Forex, and crypto as well. But for right now, we're going to look at futures because we're looking to use Edgeful to help us pass our Apex Trader accounts. So as we see, previous day's range, gold, New York session. So we're going to turn that off because we're looking at futures. We want to look at the daily range, right? Because futures are open 23 hours a day, not just the New York session. So when I do this, it gives me a great breakdown. It tells me standard past 6 months, when we break the previous day high, we have a 71% chance of closing green. Whereas we break previous day low, we have a 73% chance of closing red. So this gives me the odds and probability on my side. I could also break it down by outside close or by previous close. So if I go by previous close, this is if the previous day was green, it's 64% chance that we're going to close green. So whichever way I cut it, the odds are in my favor that we're going to close green on a day like today, especially now that I do my own analysis and see that we have in fact been trending in that direction. And that's just one of the many tools Edgeful offers. They do have, like I mentioned before, gap fill, fair value gaps, what's in play. They have a fantastic system that they run here. It really helps you to break down your own analysis and give you an edge in the market. So let's go over to crude oil and let's just do a quick markup. If you guys have any questions or you guys want to go over any specific charts, leave a comment up here and we'll start to break the chart down. And if you don't want to do futures, that's okay too. We could also maybe do a large cap or an equity. So let's go into crude oil and we will see which contract has the most volume with crude, and it looks to be this one. So let's turn off our replay system and let's get to some charting. So first thing that we do is we look for previous day high and low. Well, I see now yesterday, or at least on Monday, we had a strong day and we broke the previous day high. So that would give me confirmation number one, right? Now I'm looking for that to continue. Yesterday, it gave me the same thing. It broke previous day high. Now, something I would mention is we broke previous day high, but yet we failed to close below it. But that's okay because we're still continuing to break previous day high and not break that previous day low, which means we're making higher highs on the lower time frame and we're making higher lows on the lower time frame, which is still bullish. So now that I saw on the daily which direction we're running in, I would like to see, do we have any zones or areas of interest? Well, we have a supply zone right here on the daily time frame. This was a level of resistance, and resistance. So 71.41 might work as a good target for any long swings on crude oil. If I was looking for any type of demand below us, I see right here we have our basing candle and a strong rally afterwards. And this gave us an area that we ended up holding as support 1, 2, 3 times. So again, we're finding areas of support and resistance on the higher time frame to get an understanding of which direction we should go in, along with our previous day high and previous day low. So now I would break it down to, say, the 4-hour time frame, and I would see the last time we were range bound up here on crude, we ended up moving lower. So because we have our basing and our impulse move, we're going to mark this out as our supply zone. We're going to make it red as well. Again, guys, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to let me know in the comments. If you guys want to go over any risk management, please let me know too. So some way that I would look for a short on this 4-hour supply zone would only be if we found some selling pressure. Now, the reason for that is because we have been making some higher highs lately. Now, if we do fail to break this pivot high right here, there is a good chance that crude is going to create a lower high again on the higher time frame. So we saw on the lower time frame, we were making higher highs and moving higher. However, when we zoom out, because when in doubt, we zoom out, we see that we're making a lower high, a lower high. So now I'm anticipating a lower high. If we could manage to break 70.50 on crude oil, we'll take a look at the daily as well. I do believe crude might be in for a really strong run to the upside, maybe even seeing 75, 76. So I'm definitely excited to see where crude oil takes us this next day or the next few weeks, really. If we look at the weekly time frame, look how strong this current weekly is. This is why I say it's very important to watch this high right here. That's the previous week's high too. So we do have a lot of resistance right at this high. However, it's truly a make or break level, right? If we break this level and hold it with strength, we can look for continuation on gold and look for some easier moves throughout the day, right? We'll know the bias is along and we'll look to trade the trend because the trend is our friend. Whereas if we're looking at something like, let's say we were looking at gold and gold was still range bound, we'll be able to take advantage of the fact that we did our analysis on crude and trade something else. Now, do you guys want to go over ES? Do you guys want to go over the NASDAQ? Whatever you guys want to cover. I even have some tricks that I use when I'm trading. So this right here, I want to show you guys. This is the weighted index. Now, when I trade the ES and the NQ, I'm going to turn these indicators off. This is the edge fill gap fill by session indicator. Very cool tool, very easy to use. Those indicators come free with the edge fill subscription. But what I like to use when I trade ES and the NASDAQ is I'll use both of them together. So I want to make sure that they're both trading together. There's no divergence. They're both bullish or they're both bearish. And I also like to watch the weighted index. Now, a lot of people might, Rick said NQ. We could go over NQ for sure. Now, the weighted index is the top 5 stocks that I feel, and they are the top 10 in NASDAQ, have the biggest impact on the NASDAQ. I got you, Rick, no problem. Now, Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, and Meta are very large caps. They're very large stocks, and they are huge in the tech industry. They have a much stronger pull on the NASDAQ than they do the ES. So I like to use this chart as almost like an indicator to show me if the NASDAQ is pushing higher with strength, if maybe we should be anticipating a pullback, if maybe we're coming into resistance. And I do also use previous day highs on these as well because it's the combined stock of it. It works as if it's a real stock or a real index. If this one's trending, the NASDAQ's normally trending, and vice versa. Now let's go over some NASDAQ charts. We'll pull up the NQ. And we'll pull up which, let's see. I want to pull up a clean chart of the NASDAQ for you so we could start fresh. And then we'll also go over, do you think it's possible to get gap fill all the way down today? No way. Not after the news. You know what it is? We had those big gaps were created today, right? Let's see, and I'll show you them. So NASDAQ's gap would be this whole big gap right here. ES's gap is this big gap right here. Now, this gap itself is about 0.4% of a move. Now, real quick back to the edge full stats. If I go to Toolbox and check the gap fill on ES, and I go to New York, I could go by size, and I see that the 0.4 to 0.69 sizes, when we gap up, we only fill that 38% of the time, which means it goes not filled 62% of the time. Now, it doesn't happen too frequently. It only happened 8 times. But for it to happen 8 times and only fill 3, that does tell me that the stats are not on my side if I was looking for a gap fill. Now, if I was looking for this gap fill this morning, I would have wanted a rejection to the supply zone. And I'll show you exactly what I was looking at this morning. We were in supply here on ES, taking out previous day high. If we were able to reject from here, then I would have had some more faith that we were going to fill that gap. Now, something I do want to mention is we had news the other day as well. And what happened was it gave us a crazy move. It pushed higher, and then it dumped, and it did fill the gap on NASDAQ. Where was it the other day too? There it is. This is the day I was looking for. This is last Friday. I believe this was the unemployment news that came out and gave us our data low and data high. Now, this is another strategy that I like to use and be aware of. Watching for data high and data low is very important because when the market makes these data highs and lows, it creates levels of an imbalance, right? So when the market moved down here, it dumped down here by this crazy spike and spiked back up. There's a lot of unfilled orders. There's an imbalance to the downside. So what I usually look for is us to take out one direction, like the data high, and then make our way back lower. Now, we failed to make our way back lower to data low this day. However, the following day, we did end up returning and hitting that data low. So that's something I would definitely be interested in. And again, we came up to that level today, and this looks like a very strong level of resistance. However, we did not break. We did not reject it. We tried to on this wick, but we broke right back up with strength. I do think the market does want to push higher at this point. We do have to be careful with PPI data tomorrow. However, PPI data normally doesn't move the market as strong as CPI does, but I would still be hesitant and stay out of any potential trades. So let's go over the NASDAQ here. And this is the, I want to say the March. This is the March contracts because they have the most volume. You could always tell which one has the most volume by looking at the candlesticks, the price action itself. If it's very choppy, let's see, this might not even be the right one. If it's very choppy, what you're going to see, just like on gold, is it's going to be a little bit all over the place. There we go. See this? The December contracts are a lot smoother than the March contracts. Now, March does still have good volume so far, but not as clean as the December contracts do. So we're not on replay anymore. So let's find some zones and some areas of interest. So the first thing that sticks out to me right away would be this level right here. We have almost a 1 hour supply zone and 1 hour consolidation before we have our break lower. So this might work as an area of interest that I might look to go along on the NASDAQ. I would break it down. Let's see the 4 hour, even the 6 hour, if we have any demand zones down here. The daily, really not seeing too much. The one thing I see on the daily that I would like to see for today for continuation tomorrow is I want to see if we could close above 21,706. Now, that's not the previous day's high, but it is the previous day before that, which is Monday's high. Now, if we're looking at the weekly time frame, we see that buyers have had strength, just like I mentioned earlier. When in doubt, zoom out. We want to see the higher time frame to get a better understanding of trend in the market. I'm going to wrap up some of these charts in just a moment, guys. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comments. I do appreciate your guys' time today. Definitely check out Apex Trader Funding. They are probably the best prop firm to get started with. Very cheap, very reliable, and their customer service is fantastic. Don't forget to use discount code FEVER to get your discount on Apex Trader Funding. And if you do need any help finding any of the links, you could look up Trading Pioneers. This is my website, tradingpioneers.net. And under resources, I do have everything that you might need to help get yourself funded. All right, so taking a look at the NASDAQ. Now, I also want to note with the NASDAQ, we're also at all-time highs, which is going to be the same thing on ES2. Whenever we're at all-time highs, we don't have any historical levels to base off of. So what we do is we look for key psychological levels, and these key psychological levels will fall anywhere from 21,900, 21,950, 22,000. So these are key psychological levels because they're whole numbers. Let's do what I do, 21, and we'll do 900. And then we will clone that, and we will do another one at 20,000, and we'll do 50. Oh, no, 22,050. Okay, right, so we can go by 50s, we could go by hundreds. Because NASDAQ moves so strong and usually has hundreds of 200-point ranges lately, you might want to spread them out about 50 points, 100 points each. You know, if we're looking at this move on the NASDAQ here today, almost 300 points this move right here, and that's not even starting from the bottom. So really great. We have to remember when price moves higher, the ATR tends to move with it. So instead of looking for, you know, how many points do I want to risk on this trade, should really be using a tool like TradingView offers, where it does the math for you on how many contracts you should risk per trade. Now, if I wanted to risk, let's say I have a $100,000 account and I want to risk $1,000. Hi, what do you think of Tesla? Yeah, we could run over Tesla real quick. So real quick though, so $1,000 account, if I $100,000 account, if I wanted to risk $1,000 on this trade, right now it tells me I would risk one contract for my entry point to be at 21,734, stop loss 21,782. If I tighten up my stop, it will add how many contracts I could trade, and TradingView does this math for me with this tool. As for Tesla, let's run into Tesla and see what we got. Hopefully we don't have to charge our charts. Blah. All right. Looking at the weekly on Tesla, this thing really has flown. I made a Tesla video on the Bullish Bears YouTube. I believe this was right after their earnings. And I mentioned how we created a daily imbalance, which would be a daily gap. And a lot of people are going to be anticipating to short inside this gap, right? There's this whole big thing in the market that every gap has to get filled, and that's just not true. When we see gaps in the market, we have to see those as imbalances and levels of support. So you have to almost completely flip your mindset. There's a reason 90% of retail traders are failing, and that's because they're following along the next guy and the next guy. You have to be original, you have to be yourself, and you have to find a strategy and system that suits you. So I saw Tesla created this big gap from earnings. I said, let's watch to see if we could enter around 240, and I would like to look for longs targeting maybe 300 key psych level. And that's exactly what Tesla did. Now, I personally don't trade stocks, but I do run with the Discord group, the Bullish Bears group. So I do like to, do some analysis. I do know a lot of people do trade stocks and futures. And the Tesla's just been killing it. I don't think we're at all-time highs just yet, are we? We might be. Let's see. Throw up our key level on here. Is Tesla at an all-time high? If it's not, it's sure close. Let's see. And I just want to zoom out even more to make sure. Yep, so this would be all-time high on Tesla, and Tesla is It did wick an all-time high on Tesla, guys. That is phenomenal. That's fantastic. If I was looking for any swing trades, it would most likely be Tesla. Entry points on it, though, is pretty tough. We are making higher highs. We're making higher lows. I wouldn't enter it now at this point, because at this point, we have to remember a lot of people might be a little late to the party. They might be trying to chase it. Now, I do want to mention, when I'm doing my charting on equities, I like to turn off my extended trading hours. And the reason for that is because nobody's trading extended trading hours. I'd much rather chart the regular trading hours, the New York session, and then I'd like to see, how has the New York session been trading? What price level on the New York session has been respected? All right, guys, any questions, please feel free to let me know. And you guys, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Hope you guys learned something from this stream. Make sure you join me next week, next Wednesday, for another Futures Fever segment. Come loaded with questions. I'm excited. I do hope I could help some of you guys pass your evals. We could focus more on setups and potential trades and trends in the market. So right now on the NASDAQ, I'd really only be looking for longs. The ES, I believe, is the same situation. I'm only looking for a long. The thing is, ES is not at all-time highs right now, so we do have that bit of divergence, and that's because I believe the YM has been weaker. Yep, look at the YM. The YM has been a lot weaker. The YM is the Dow. So because the YM's been weaker and the NASDAQ's been stronger, we have divergence on ES. All right, guys, I hope this stream helped out. Take care. Happy trading. Kevin Dubrisky signing out with Futures Fever with Benzinga. Take care, everyone. Any last Q&A, please let me know. Next week, we could cover divergence. We could cover different types of liquidity sweeps, different time frame analysis, and different entries. You guys let me know what we want to cover next time, and we will take care of it. Take care, everybody. Happy trading.